Hi, guys. Welcome to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. I have been seeing Charles Blake is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's send some beavers to him. I have been watching Credence and Mikey are here. We need to show some extra love to one of the OG legends of the internet, I would hazard to say. Um, a huge supporter and friend of mine, if I dare say, online friend, just like all of you guys are. Credence and Mikey, please make sure you're following their channel. They do amazing stuff. And what I find the best part is that even when we cover the same cases, I watched the entirety of you covering the same case that we did last night. And a lot of the same people were there. And I think watching it a second time with other people gives a really different point of view as well. So, anyways, guys, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Kitchen Court Cases. We're in my kitchen. As you can see, it's beautiful outside. We're starting a little early today. And I'm told that it's a holiday in the States coming up this weekend, Memorial Day. Well, from your Canadian friend, happy Memorial Day. I hope you all have a wonderful long weekend. We are going to get kicked off with something some of you may have seen a little bit earlier. Laura in Michigan. I- I'm speechless. Thank you, thank you, thank you so, so much, my friend. Oh, it should be coming here any moment. And I will dance for that. Oh yeah, all day, Laura. That's amazing. Thank you so, so much. Seriously. You don't know how much that means. It's really, really lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, my volume is so low. Um, Laura, thank you. Seriously. Hi, everybody. Let me see how we've got Richard Harrison, Laura in Michigan, Courtney E, Harmony. Hi, hun. Vaughn. We've got Charles, of course. Thank you so much for being here, Charles. We are sending you positive vibes, my friend. Chris with the fur, Tupac, Monica C, the lady who had a birthday yesterday, was here earlier, I'm sure, wasn't she? Georgia Peach. We've got, everybody, all my friends are here. Tell me what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, let me know what you wish you had for dinner. Here's Detective Rachel, Sashina. Thank you for your comment on the video recently, Sashina. I love that. Um, Chris with the fur. I've said that one already. Richard Harrison. Oh, he helped me out figuring out the map behind Hagen, referee Hagen, guys. Super fun. Also, yeah, lurking is fun. You can lurk. That's cool too. Um, what I ask is that you hit the like or the dislike button, whichever you prefer, because that's how we check in for our shift around here in the kitchen. Um, Once we do that, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get us going on this first video that some of you might have seen, but if so, I think it's worth it. And then we'll go into our Hagen stuff, okay? So give me 2 seconds here. Um, Susie is watching all the way from Australia. Wow. G'day, mate. I love Australia. They are absolutely a sister country of ours. And we know we're attached to the US. I know. We love you too. But a lot of Australians come to my part of Canada to ski and to go on the ski slopes at Whistler. So that's not exactly where I live, but it's in my province. So guys, I'm all kerfuffled, Laura. You've kerfuffled me in a very good way. Thank you. Oh, we've got the UK reporting in. Richard from Bristol. Thank you. What am I talking about? I don't know. Let's get this video playing. Um, I want to watch this again because seriously, this guy, we deserve a little bit of a closer look here. Did I say a boot? New dude a booted, eh?
what's the status of the matter, I guess, on the objection?
Okay, the support recommendation went out with an effective date of June 1st with Mr. Guzman paying $805 child support, $29 ordinary medical. I also configured birth expense at $25 a month for a total of $859. Mr. Guzman did not provide the court with any information as to his income, so I found that income on the quarterly wage reporting for the 4 quarters last year.
All right. What's support currently billing at?
Support is currently billing $366 per month.
All right. And I'll swear both of you in. Both raise your right hands. Do you both swear or affirm any testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. And sir, you filed the objection?
Yes, I did.
Chris, earlier today, you called it. He did swear them in twice, part of what I wanted to check. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think, does it undo getting sworn in if you get sworn in again? Do you know what I mean? Like, does it negate it? I don't know. Also, yes, I literally twerked last night. Twerked. But I wasn't wearing a dress. I was wearing shorts for that. You guys are hilarious, by the way. So what I want to point out first is something that some people are good at paperwork, some people aren't. Do your paperwork, people. Because he had a chance to respond to this lawsuit, but he didn't, and so they went and got all the info themselves, right? Dang. So, but let's pick up on the inconsistencies that we have in his story today.
All right. Why is that?
Well, I'm having a hard time understanding where this significant increase is coming into play. I believe it to be almost a $500 increase. Can somebody please explain to me where that is coming from? Because I'm looking over the formulas here and I don't quite understand it. Is it due to medical expenses or?
No. So support was reviewed. It's reviewed every 3 years. And so, Ms. Heaven, what income was used for Mr. Guzman back in when the previous order was run? It looks like it was back in 2019 or 2020. While she's looking that up, just so you both know, overnights with the child and income are the 2 major factors in child support, okay? And you didn't submit your income, your current income, but she does have a resource online where she can find that. It's not always 100%. It wouldn't be as accurate as if you had responded to the paperwork that you got in the mail with the request for your income. So is there a good reason why you didn't return that?
That was just complete carelessness on my behalf, completely misplaced it. I would have totally followed up on it. Should have, but
okay.
I don't have
she had to dig around online on some resources the front of the court has to find income for parties that have child support cases. And first we'll hear what she has to say about your previous income, so then we can compare it to your current income. And maybe that'll explain, what the difference in the recommendation is. Because like I said, income and overnights are the 2 major factors.
So the PA's office used income from Denison Automation, $12.50 an hour at 40 hours a week. That would have been $2,175 a month.
All right. And that was in 2019 or 2020?
That was in 2020, probably the end of 2019 when they ran it. Yeah, October of 19.
All right. And what income did you currently use for Mr. Guzman then?
I used quarters 1 through 4 of 2022, and that totaled $63,968.28. So I divided that by 12 for the monthly income. of $5,330.69.
All right, so about 3,200 more than you were making last time support was run, sir. That's going to be a big factor in the amount of support that's recommended. And that was in 2023. Is that income accurate?
Yes, it is.
All right. And just a quick.
You know, I guess this is like my third or fourth time watching this now, but it occurs to me he's probably underreporting somehow. Hi, my crazy life. Hi, Monica, Brian and Kim. Who else came in? Oh, Denisha, I think. My crazy life. That's it. Lawrence Browning. There we are. Oh, Mikey, I had a question for you. Those infomercials that you play, do they copyright you on that? Is that something you'd be careful about? Because I was just wondering. And also, thank you very much, Lauren. Michigan. Again. So this guy, what I'm thinking is he quickly said, yeah, that's right. Even though he's making like 65K. Now my brain's like, oh, I bet he's making more. Because if he objects to everything, wouldn't it make sense that was actually less? Right? He wouldn't impute himself with more income accidentally. Or maybe he's that dumb. I don't know. He seems weird. No offense, buddy. Allegedly.
Calculation I did here while she was doing that, the 366 that you were paying for the last 3 years was about 17% of your gross income. The 859 is about 16% of your gross income now. So it's pretty close, actually a little bit less of a percentage of your income. Have your overnights changed? I don't think that any overnights were used in the previous calculation. Do you have any parenting time?
I have absolutely none.
Oh, why not?
Oh, that's a long story, and I thought we were talking about support here.
Well, we are, but like I said, overnights are a big factor. So
Charles, thank you so much. Love you too. We are thinking of you. We are sending positive vibes and healing to you. Please, please take good care of yourself because you are very important to us here in this community. This community is amazing. It travels from chat to chat to chat and takes care of their own. So I'm so proud to be part of it and so thankful for all of you guys. The creators that come, the people that help, the absolutely fabulous friends that we spend our time with. So I love you all very, very much and appreciate each and every one of you for what you bring and what you bring out in me as well. But again, thank you, Charles. Streamlabs, you and I are gonna have to have a talk in a little bit. This is taking a slight bit too long. I don't understand. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you again, Charles. And seriously, best community around. If you're tired and sore, please, please take care of yourself. Take some meds. They've got them for you, and do what makes you what makes you happy. And if that's watching me work in the kitchen, then here I am. Oh, and Detective 2, Denisha. So apparently we have a police force starting in the chat as well of detectives. But Cynthia, I have to be the center of attention because it's my channel. So yeah, actually this entire video is already posted. So you can literally go to my page and watch it without me in it. This one got me in it. yeah. Anyways, I appreciate all of you. Yeah, it's about me, but it's about everybody. Even you, Cynthia. Even you.
If you don't have any overnights, then it doesn't offset any support. And for every overnight you have, your support goes down a little bit. Used to be about 10 years ago, you didn't get a break until you hit 128 overnights, and then the bottom fell right out of the support, and they made it more equitable about 10 years ago or so, so that every overnight counts a little bit. So it works up to that. So that's the only reason I ask about parenting time. You know, if you don't have any overnights, you don't have them. They can't put any in if you don't have them. So your increased income and the zero overnights are the two major factors in your support being set and the amount that
I hope the mic's doing better. Can we get some bye-bye beavers in the chat for Cynthia? Please. Bye, Cynthia. It's fine. We're not too worried about it. Bye-bye beavers.
that it is or recommended.
Okay. All right. So, do I have the floor? Can I speak for a moment?
Sure. Well, let me swear you both in. You both swear or affirm any testimony given this cause to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, sir. What do you want?
All right. So right now, I'm making a total monthly income of $3,100 net take home. I have a rent of $1,511. I have a truck payment of $350. All three amenities, electric, gas, water, that's equating to $320. I have a 55-mile round trip daily, to and from work. At the end of the month, that leaves me with about $620 for food, clothes, medical expenses, and anything else I need to get by in this economy. That's nothing. That's scraping bottom of the barrel. I can't even afford to keep clothes on my son's back that I have sole custody of. That's where I'm at right now. This extra $500 I cannot pay. I will be out of a home and out of a job in the first month, and then nobody will be getting money. Absolutely nothing. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry to say that. I mean, I can offer to do a small percentage, but I cannot afford that. I cannot. I can barely keep gas in my vehicle. I don't know how we can find a common ground here, but something has to happen because nobody can afford to live right now. And I'm not even living. I'm just surviving. Go ahead. Somebody else can take the floor.
Ma'am, anything you want to say?
I agree, Monica. This is questionable. How are you going to lose your job because you are having to pay more child support? When let's keep in mind that he's now been paying a reduced amount of child support, $366 a month, that was based on income of $12 an hour. He has zero overnights with this child and doesn't really want to talk about that at all. And he also is literally, it seems like he's been making much more than $12 an hour starting many years ago. So he's gotten off really, really easy for the attitude that he's bringing. And I think it shows a lot with referee Michael Page. The reality is Michael Page is extremely fair. He is even keeled. He is, almost too fair in a way. He is very, very, sometimes too easy on people. However, this is a different case. He gets it at this point. So let's continue.
I was just itching. I was just moving my hair. Sorry.
Oh, all right. So, sir, you said you have custody of a child. You get child support for that child?
I gained sole custody about a year and a half ago. I have received 2 separate payments in the past year. I believe one in March and one in April of $600. I don't know what the state has set in place as far as their guidelines for support on him, but those are the only payments I've received, and I haven't dug into it. I haven't called my caseworker. I haven't asked for a dollar. Haven't tried.
All right. Well, if money's tight, or if you anticipate money being tight, having that obligation enforced might be one place to start. Do you live alone with your child, or does anybody else live there?
I have a significant other.
Okay. Does that person work?
Yes, she does.
Okay. So we don't use her income in computing your support, obviously, but if you've got a rental payment and electric, gas, and water,
And you don't have amazing subscribers like Tupac, then you're screwed. But lucky, I have people like you. Thank you, Tupac. I appreciate that donation so much. You rock. I love the little emoji. Oh, look. Even Streamlabs is feeling better now and moving with it. Huh? So Michael Page, extremely fair, but when you try and BS him, I don't think he likes it very much. And the reality is that this is not fair to the mom who's been paying for this kid all by themselves.
and things that benefit both of you, then you should both be contributing to that. So that's not solely your expense. I would assume if she lives with you that she chips in for the rent and the expenses associated with the home utilities. So it's not truly credible to say if your rent is $1,511 that you're solely responsible for that. Same with the electric, gas, and water. Right?
Those are my obligations.
Okay. But if you have another wage earner in the house, she could be contributing to those obligations.
We have plenty of them.
Well, I know.
We have three children.
And raising children 100% of the time without any time away, being solely responsible for food, clothing, shelter, and all that kind of thing for a child is pretty expensive.
Yes,
So my next question is, when did your wage increase from $12.50 an hour up to the $64,000 that you make now per year?
Oh, that started when I started my employment with Evoqua Water Technologies in 2019, March of 2019. I started off there at $17.50 an hour. So I've received $9 in raises in the last 3 years with that company.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong and let me know if my audio is better. That Nana shuffle, that all Nana, first of all, not me. So like, I can't be blamed for that. And that's her still. But isn't minimum wage less than $9 an hour sometimes? Sashina, welcome to the kitchen crew. Make sure you clock in for your shift. Not really? Okay.
That right there alone has barely kept up with inflation.
All right.
Barely.
But your last support obligation was based on $12.50 an hour, not even the $17 an hour. So I don't know where that came from, but you've been paying a lesser amount of support for 3 or 4 years now than maybe what you ought to have been paying.
Okay. So what can I do, or can we find a common ground here? How do we
Can I find some common ground?
help me not be out of house and home to where I cannot pay anybody anything.
Well, I don't think that's the case, because you've got another wage earner in the house, and you've been paying a lesser amount of support for 3 or 4 years than what you should have been paying based on your income. Now, the friend of the court only looks at them every 3 years, so I don't really I'm not really putting any credibility into your argument that you can't afford this. You're making almost 3 times as much as you were back then. The support obligation is going up about 2.5 times, and it's a lesser percentage of your income. The expenses you've outlined, which while we don't necessarily lower support based on expenses, because you can control those. You can control your housing payment, your truck payment. Those aren't solely yours. You have another wage earner in the house that either is or should be contributing to that. So I'm going to dismiss the objection. Support would be effective June 1st, 2023, in the amount recommended by friend of the court. Is there anything else?
I don't consent to this.
Well, you don't have to. An order will be entered. It'll have language at the bottom on how you can object within 21 days of receiving that recommendation. If you do object, then the matter will be set for further proceedings with the judge.
Understood.
All right, we're all set.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Is my audio better? Or is it still a joke? This guy getting a huge break. First of all, he's been paying $366 a month for the 3 years that he is supposed to be, should have been paying way more. Still talking. Credence and Mikey, thank you. Ow. I'm on a fair wire. My settings got fucked up. I traveled with it today.
Oh, yeah.
One minute. Next movie I know, no sound. No sound. I know. I'm trying.
On the record on case number 221.
I'm going with it's garbled for now. I think I broke it. I was trying to do a charades game, but instead I'm just going to play Matthew Hagen for a while and we'll go from there. Also, Cynthia, can you not get in the mic, please?
17030DM. Ms. Sheldon, you were questioning your client, Ms. Goggins Reed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Reed? You're muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Reed, we'll go into some of the best interest factors. We covered the love and affection and emotional ties of the children with you. And how do you show your affection to the children?
I believe I'm pretty loving and affectionate towards them. During the duration of this, I've tried not to change any emotions I have towards them. Try to meet all their needs. Emotional needs are a lot more now than what they ever have been. I don't really know how to answer that.
Okay, how are you addressing that trauma issue with Hunter?
He doesn't want to hear anything that you have to say. Granted, he's 3 and can't really talk about the trauma that he has, nor do I think he recognizes what has happened. Trying to get him into daycare or a babysitter or anything like that is almost impossible. I took it upon myself to take him to the school that he will be going to just show him around, show him that there's other kids he'll be able to play, the classroom he'd be going to, anything like that. He doesn't want to hear it, see it. He just says, no, I'm staying with you. I'm not able to leave him at all, and haven't been since October. I did attempt to get him into some counseling programs, although until he turns the age of 4, there are no programs that are offered to him.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about school. How about school for Hartley? How is she doing?
Oh, she's doing wonderful in school. School is probably one of her favorite things. She loves to learn. She did get a late start into.
Okay. We are hoping that it's a bit better now. If not, I will type this. We have a case that we started a few days ago that is includes a man who was on the Texas most wanted list. Okay, first of all, let's just talk about the audio for a second then, just because that's how life is. Do you know what fixed that problem? Switching the USB plug for the mic from the other side. That's crazy. Anyways, so this case we started earlier. The gentleman is, I think he's asking for custody. Well, I know, right, Tupac? I jiggled the wires. I did all that stuff. It was none of that. I had to move it to a different side. And it's not on a hub. It was plugged directly in. I'm careful with that. Anyways, the contacts get dirty. But so this gentleman, I'm going to he has Donna, I'm so glad you asked about that. Donna, just asking the right questions these days. The map behind the judge was kindly found for me by Richard Harrison, and he created a background for me to use, which I'm still thinking and figuring out how to do. That it's like a map of national parks. That's what we figured out. So I just love the like spatial quality that he's got going on. Like if we were both doing the same thing, this is the equivalent at this point. Like, do you see how much camera space he has available? And yet, where is he? And you know why? Because that map is very important to him, obviously. It's in the picture. It's hilarious to me when you realize you're like, that's a choice. That's a total choice. Anyways, okay, let's continue on. I'm glad the audio is better. It really bothers me when it's not. He might not be wearing pants. I don't care if he's wearing pants or not. It does not matter to me. I'm not wearing pants. Also, yeah, whenever I blow on things, I get very good results. So I was not worried once I started blowing.
Her kindergarten year, but they've tested her for different things to see if she's behind or has any issues. Apparently she's right there with all of the other students her age. Now, granted, she is one of the younger ones in her class. She will be advancing into first grade, and she's looking forward to that.
So Hartley has no issues, no special needs, is that correct?
No, she does not.
And are you, obviously you're providing their daily needs. How are you providing them?
Do you mean just a day-to-day or financially or?
Yeah, financially, food, how are you providing the food, clothing, medical care?
So I was able to get them on government assistance. It was either February or March of this year. They have been helping me with medical and food. Other than that, I had help from my parents as far as their necessities. I have been getting some small child support payments probably in the past 2 months. I use that money to buy them new clothing, things they've outgrown, and things that they need. But most of that was provided whenever I moved to Texas.
And going back previously, when you were during your marriage with the children, you provided care for the children daily, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you were the primary caregiver during their since their birth?
Yes.
And you attended all the medical appointments, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Did Mr. Reed attend any of the medical appointments during the marriage? Ms. Reed?
Are you there?
Yeah. I can
Okay,
hear
I'm
you.
sorry. It froze.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Regarding Mr. Reed's attendance to medical appointments,
No, ma'am. He never attended any of the medical appointments.
okay. Did he provide daily care for the children?
No, he did not.
Did he bathe the children?
There might have been a couple of times where he sat with them while they were in the tub while I bathed the other one. But no, for the most part, I attended to the children pretty much 24/7.
Okay. So it is safe to say that Mr. Reed was hands-off kind of a father?
Yes, in the instance that I needed to do something that the children could not be with me, it was always scheduled with his mother to watch the children. She was the only person that ever watched the children.
Okay. Now, you've been in Texas since July of last year then?
Yes.
So since then, children have been living with you in the same environment?
Yes.
And can you describe your housing situation?
Yes, we live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It was my childhood home that I grew up in. It's just me, my oldest son, and then Hartley and Hunter.
Do you pay rent?
I do not.
I would assume this is your mother's home. Is that correct?
Yes, it's my mother's home.
And your oldest son, what is his name?
Hayden.
Hayden. And he's 17, is that correct?
Correct.
Does he attend school?
Yes.
Does he have any special needs?
No.
Does he have any delinquency or criminal record?
No.
Does he have any kind of threatening behavior or behavioral issues that would pose a threat to your children?
No. He has ADHD, but no threatening behaviors.
Thank you. And you are allowed to live in that home as long as you need to?
Correct.
And you are intending to stay in that home and allow the children to attend school in that same school district. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And they're in a community with...
I swear there is, Richard, but every time I try it, it does not work. Plus, I don't have a green screen. This is a real kitchen behind me, so I don't have a green screen. But thank you very much for creating this. I don't care if that's Judge's head up there. This is the type of content you can come to expect from this channel. We dive deep. We copy backgrounds.
Their grandparents and other relatives, is that correct?
That is correct. It's my hometown.
Okay. So you spoke about having contact with the grandparents as well as their half siblings, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, as to the criminal record, do you have any criminal record?
I have no criminal record.
Have you ever been arrested for anything?
I have not.
Does Mr. Reed have a criminal record?
An extensive criminal record.
And he is a convicted felon, is that correct?
That is correct.
And would you say that he would abide by the court's order?
No, he would not.
I object. You're just speculating.
I object too. You're just speculating. You're speculating. I object. Sashina, if you send me a picture of your cow colored lambs with 4 horns, yeah, they will get a spot on the show, obviously. Sorry, maybe I'm not getting my message across properly. I thought that would be understood. If you have cute animals that you'd like me to show, yeah. I mean, I show Larry Beaver all the time. I was just going to ask Larry to step in here for a moment while I went out onto the porch. But I see that People in Court is here, and yet another creator that we love in this chat and who is part of our fabulous community and needs to be on your guys' subscription lists. You cannot be serious, Stephen Rosen, speculating that Hagen is wearing a toupee. Like, no, that cannot be. That cannot be. He can't surf with a toupee. What do you think? He's got like extra tight glue that he puts on there? No, this is crazy. That's crazy. I think Hagen is blessed. Oh, do you know what it could be? What if this is the only angle that his hair looks like that? And if we went up at all, we would see that it's really like receded back to here. Seriously, what do you think? Do you think that could be the reason for this angle? Because it's only glorifying the map as far as I can see. Objection, speculation. This is not an all-nighter. I'm pre-warning you. I've already been called out multiple times this week for being disgusting and annoying, which I totally am, which is why most of you love me and you want to hang out here. So, but I'm also setting limits for myself. So this won't be an all-nighter, but we will finish this thing and I need to shut up and let it play. Yeah. Oh, med check. Fuck. You guys, that's what Cynthia was missing. Can somebody remind me when that happens next time that we just need to do med check? Because that's quite obviously what the issue is, right? Yeah, that's obviously it. So if you're new here, med check is when you go, hey, do I take meds? And if you do, you take them. And if you don't, you come to here, the chat, and tell us what it's like not to take medication. We'd love to hear about it.
I'm going into it, Your Honor.
Okay, but otherwise, yeah, we'll see what you're able to listen on.
Ms. Reed, was there a spousal support order in this case?
Yes, there was a spousal support order put in place, I believe, in February of 2023.
And that was $350 per month, is that correct?
Correct.
Effective March 1st?
Yes.
Have you been paid?
I have not received any money from spousal support.
And there's also a child support order, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that was effective sometime last year.
I believe November 1st.
I'm sorry?
I believe it was either October or November 1st. I'm sorry.
I believe that is correct. November 1st, 2022 for the child support order. Is that correct? Ms. Reed?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry it froze.
Okay. So is it correct that there's a child support order for the children?
Yes, the child support order, I believe, was put in effect November 1st.
Did Mr. Reed pay on that order?
I believe the first payment I received was in March.
And did you receive any other payments after that?
I received a couple of cash payments through the state of Michigan. And then now I've been getting small increments. I believe he has a job now. So there's no scheduled payments or anything like that. They kind of just trickle in.
Okay. Did Mr. Reed provide any other assistance or financial support for the children?
He has not provided anything for the children.
Has he purchased any gifts or clothing for the children? Ms. Reed?
Cynthia Reed?
Are you there?
Yep.
I have full signal. I'm not really sure why this keeps. Can you repeat that?
Just kidding.
Has he provided any non-cash assistance such as clothing, toys, presents, gifts for the children?
The only thing he has provided was the $20 to Hartley to buy her a toy for her grades.
Okay. There's at the last hearing, there was dispute as to you were requesting a security blanket for Hunter. Is that correct?
Correct.
And why is that blanket so important?
It's just Hunter's baby blanket. It's been something that he's used since an infant, just as a security blanket every night when he goes to sleep, every day for nap time. Sometimes he totes it around for unknown reasons. It's just his blankie.
And were you able to pick that up from Mr. Reed?
No, he did not supply that when I picked Hunter up.
Did you request it again through the attorneys to have that blanket sent to Hunter?
Yes, I've requested it multiple times. I do believe that the judge asked for him to present that. Through the duration of the divorce, I've asked for it. It actually came up in mediation.
Well, you may not discuss what we discussed in mediation, but have you received that blanket from Mr. Reed?
No, I have not.
As to your mental and physical health, are you currently experiencing any illnesses or problems?
Not currently at the moment. I no longer take daily medication other than omeprazole. I have a stomach issue, which requires me to take omeprazole daily, which is just for heartburn, indigestion. And I also have a slip disc in my back.
And does that prevent you from parenting your children?
No, it does not.
So you're not taking any pain medication or other medications that you mentioned, hydrocodone?
I take the omeprazole daily, and I do have a prescription for hydrocodone only as needed. It's been several months since I've taken any of that medication. I no longer take the Esco whatever. It's a generic brand of Lexapro. I no longer take that. It's not needed.
What was that for?
Anxiety.
Okay. Have you ever been a drug user?
No, I have not.
Have you ever taken meth or any other illegal substances?
No, I have not.
Have you ever cheated on your husband?
I have not.
And there was a discussion regarding leaving your children alone at home and not being home with the children.
I've never left my children alone. My children go everywhere with me, and they have for years now. That includes doctor's appointments, anything that you can think of.
And regarding cheating, and you answered that you have never cheated, correct?
Correct.
Did Mr. Reed accuse you of cheating throughout the marriage?
Multiple times.
And why is that?
To be honest, I'm not so sure. Probably for the simple fact I did leave the home. due to domestic violence and went and stayed elsewhere. I believe it was just him trying to get it out of me of wondering where I'm staying, which I never would give up the safe places that I could go to. Therefore, he just assumed that it was with another man.
So the domestic violence issue has been ongoing since you married him in 2015. Is that correct?
Correct.
When I suppose you called the police, and on these instances you described physical abuse, strangulation, and suffocation. What happened to those incidences?
Most of the incidents that I called to report, charges were filed. He was arrested, but most of them went away. The last charges of impeding breath were actually they were part of a plea bargain into the criminal conviction.
Really?
Hey, Mr. Reed, if you feel the need to speak out and laugh anymore, maybe you can put yourself on mute.
I apologize. This is hard.
There's just no need for it. I mean,
Yeah,
I shouldn't have to warn you of that.
it's hard listening to lies. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe you should just mute yourself then.
Excellent.
And you discussed these incidences of domestic violence, and they were ongoing and continuous. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And can you describe for the court, I guess we talked about a little bit of physical abuse of the children. What were some of the physical abuse that you had to endure?
As me on my person?
Yes.
There's been multiple black eyes, busted lips, bruises. They do believe that my back issue was from an incident that happened where I was pushed and shoved onto the ground. I have been stranded in places butt naked where he would rip my clothes off of me. Me and the kids were thrown out in the street with no formula, no diapers, no money, no vehicle.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Larry, do you think that's horrible? I think that's horrible. Thank you so much for covering for me there, Larry, while I was busy. Appreciate that. You can leave now. Looking at legal stuff, thank you so much for being here. Another amazing creator in the house. Welcome, my friend. Please say hello. Everybody, you should know looking at legal stuff by now. Her stuff is amazing, but if you don't, you got to get there. The Beeve disapproved. Larry was taking furious notes, you guys. He was taking furious notes about this. She's taking a 10-minute break from gardening. It is still beautiful. People could see that outside of me. The weather is still lovely right now. We, looking at legal stuff and I are neighbors practically in comparison. And so this case is so frustrating. I'll remind you guys, the gentleman that we are hearing about and these horrendous, allegedly, or I think these are probably proven allegations. I don't know. Allegedly. I'll just say allegedly. In my opinion. In my opinion, horrendous things. So, but you know what? That's sort of what we sign up for. Watching this kind of stuff, and I know that most of us can handle it, no problem. I don't know why this isn't as triggering as last night's for some reason. Maybe the way she's talking about it is different. Like she's already moved on from this partly, but I don't know. She is still in great and grave danger from somebody if there was indeed an incident where there was hands around somebody's neck. That is extraordinarily dangerous. The statistics on that are well known. So once again, if you or somebody you know needs help, please reach out. We'll find I know the suicide hotline is 988. You can text 988 or you can call 988 or go to 988lifeline.org. And I'm sure they would help you figure it out until I do figure out the better number. But anyways, seriously, domestic violence is very serious. I'm glad this woman has moved on. I'm upset that she's even having to go through this, but this is the way it is. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah, neighbors. Well, we're all neighbors, really. We're all internet neighbors.
There's been instances where I was literally in a t-shirt, kicked out of the house with both kids. Hunter was maybe under 6 months old, Hartley around 2. He ripped my shirt so that my body was exposed and told me to take off walking, and I had no choice but to take off walking into town with two children and no shoes and basically no clothes on.
I'm sorry, we have to stop for just 1 second.
We do? Whoa. Judge. Let's pull up this guy's rap sheet thing while I'm doing it. While Judge is doing whatever he's doing. That was abrupt for the judge. He's not always like that. There it is right here. Dun dun dun. This is the gentleman who is involved in the case. Blake Everett Reed. He was a Texas 10 most wanted fugitive and was taken into custody on January 21st, 2018 at a residence in Cayucas, California. Working off of investigative information, members of the Sheriff's Narcotics Unit and Sheriff's Gang Task Force in San Luis Obispo County apprehended Reed without incident. I read further on the site that this was handled without a tip, and therefore no reward was paid for his apprehension, but that he was on the Texas 10 most wanted list for multiple crimes. Allegedly, supposedly, in my opinion.
Sorry about that.
Okay, Ms. Kelly, Ms. Reed, yes. If you can would continue.
There were multiple instances where I tried to flee the marriage with the children due to just safety concerns. Each time I tried to leave, he always found a way to stop me on the incident, such as Jesse Jensen was talking about. JT, Blake's father, actually was helping me load my car up. I managed to drive about 2.5 hours to the next big city where Mr. Reed called to have the vehicle reported as stolen. And I was told if I didn't leave the vehicle at a specific place that they would arrest me. So I had no choice but to hand over the vehicle and figure out another way for me to get away.
So this financial control, none of the vehicles were in your name?
No.
Did you have a bank account in your name?
Yes.
Did you have any money that goes into your bank accounts?
Occasionally I would be able to put something in there. I tried to save as much money as I possibly could get my hands on. But for the most part, there wasn't much money at all in there. It was made, it was specifically for like emergency funds.
You talked about phones. Did you have a phone in your name?
Yes, I was able to keep my phone in my name, so that I could keep it turned on. He would try to cut my phone off. That way no one would have any contact with me. But since the phone was in my name, I would have to pay the bill. So depending on how I was acting was whether or not he would pay my bill. But in any type of altercation, my phone was the first thing that I had to hand over.
So since you left in July of last year, how many times have you changed your phone number?
I've changed my phone number 4 times.
And what is the reason for that?
Just constant harassment, phone calls between 4 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning, constant threats. I just don't feel that there's anything to communicate about, nor should I have to listen to his opinion any longer.
You established the My Family Wizard application according to the court's order, temporary order for custody and parenting time that was issued last year. Is that correct?
Correct.
And did Mr. Reed utilize that app at all?
There was an issue with the Family Wizard app. I do believe that Blake and I were both on the app, but for some reason I think there had been multiple accounts.
Thank you for popping by, looking at legal stuff. Love you so much. I'm so glad that you popped in. You guys make sure to check out her stuff. She's doing amazing content all the time. And also another great supporter of the channel. So please make sure to check out Looking at Legal Stuff. Same with People in Court. Same with That Is the Way I See It. Same with Credence and Mikey. Same with Time Served. Same with Tommy V and MI. I'm learning them all. Also, we have a little something coming up here, guys. Let's continue.
So we weren't getting each other's messages. Back in, I believe it was the end of April, I contacted our Family Wizard to let them know that we're not seeing each other's messages and there was no way of communication. The only communication that I need with him is through that app. So they were able to merge the accounts, and now we are able to communicate through that app.
So there's no need for Mr. Reed to contact you otherwise. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I'm going to, Your Honor, go to the exhibits. Exhibits F, G, and H. Ms. Reed, are you able to see the exhibit here?
Larry Beaver.
Yes, I am.
Can you identify that exhibit F?
That is a text message on a texting app that I used from Blake's phone number.
And that 231-620-719.
No. You're not doing this, lady. ruining another of my videos. Larry Beaver is in front of this text message only until I can just cover up the loser's phone number. Alleged loser. And I'll read it here. Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to read it yet until I figure out who it's from. Yeah, let's see. She's going to try and say the number here, so we're skipping ahead.
Yes, I used it for quite some time. I no longer use it.
Okay. And these are the text messages from Mr. Reed that were captured between the time September 22nd and September 23rd. Is that correct?
Yes, it looks like the date is 9/22 on that particular text message.
Yes, and they're all together here. If I can scroll down for you. And do you recognize that these are the text messages that you received from him?
Yes, I believe these were the text messages when he asked me to come pick up Hunter.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I would like to move to amend Exhibit F.
I don't think I've been given these to examine previously.
Testimony is these are your texts, sir.
Okay.
Are they or not? You don't know if they're yours looking at them?
Well, I mean, dates are written in by hand.
But you don't know if these are your texts then?
If they're scrolling so fast, I can't. That's fine. They're my text.
Okay, then in other words, what's the objection?
I thought that any evidence brought in was having to be put in prior.
So you're again saying on the record that you didn't receive these in the email Sheldon had emailed you?
I do not recall.
On May 6th, that's not what I asked. On May 16th, she said she emailed you all these exhibits, so.
I would have to go back and look at my emails.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it seems like it would be a good idea to prepare for trial before the day of. And as I ruled earlier, you acknowledged you received that. You claimed that there was a threatening message from Ms. Sheldon, so you've received that email. So Exhibit F submitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is Exhibit G, and it's the communication from plaintiff to defendant from August 20th through September 22nd. So, Ms. Reed, can you see this exhibit? Cannot hear you, Ms. Reed.
Yeah, yes, I can see.
Okay. Is this the same app you're using to communicate with Mr. Reed?
No, I don't believe this is the app. I believe this is an actual email to my email address.
Okay. And a date of August 20th, 2022, discussing something about your son. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then 2023.
Yes.
Sorry. August 23rd, August 24th. So it goes all the way to September 22nd. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are these the emails that you receive from the email address that you usually exchange communication with Mr. Reed?
Yes.
And are these the capture of the emails that you received from Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would like to request that the court admit the exhibit F. I'm sorry, G.
Mr. Reed, any objection?
You did.
You're on mute, sir.
No, sir.
Thank you. Exhibit G is admitted.
Thank you. Now this is the Exhibit H.
I'll read these. Just hold on one sec. Let her admit them and I'll read.
Now this is the Exhibit H. It's the communication from the plaintiff to defendant August 1st through August 13th. Ms. Reed, do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
And what is this document?
This is actual text messages to and my actual phone number at that time, where he texted me earlier in the morning to ask if I took Hunter, where I assumed Hunter was missing.
This is August 1st when Hunter was residing with Mr. Reed, is that correct?
That is correct.
And do you recognize these as the same text messages that you exchanged with Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I would like to request to amend Exhibit H.
Mr. Reed, any objection?
No, sir.
Thank you. Exhibit H is admitted.
Thank you. Ms. Reed, regarding the co-parenting issue, do you believe that Mr. Reed is willing and able to facilitate and encourage a close and continuing relationship with you if the children were to be with him?
No, I do not.
What kinds of things that does Mr. Reed do in these messages that concerns you about his ability to facilitate that relationship?
For the most part, it's if I don't do what he tells me or what he thinks that I should do, therefore they should be taken away from me. So if I don't communicate with him to talk about whatever it may be, therefore I cannot talk to my children anymore. Or it just the manipulation. To be honest, he's made it clear that it's my fault that the court has ordered. What the court has ordered is my fault. Therefore, I believe he would take it upon himself to think that I should have the same consequences as he does.
I object. Speculation.
What is your objection?
Ms. Sheldon?
Thank you. That's not an objection, dude. Also, thank you very much, Richard Harrison, for this background we have here. Also, referee Larry's coming out because this guy's pissing me off.
No, I don't think it's speculation when she received these threats. He's called and left voicemails. He's threatened through those messages. We can go through the exhibits, but
that doesn't mean that I'm not following court orders. That's her belief on what she wants to imply. Her feelings.
Well, I'll let you, sir. I'll let you ask her about that.
Ms. Reed, continuing on. Regarding the parenting time, you've been present for the supervised parenting times, correct?
Correct.
And what was your observation about what happened during parenting time?
The children were constantly being interrogated to benefit him to know what is going on in my life and their life. The visitation was never about the kids and actually how they're doing or anything. It was just a series of questions, the same questions over and over. He believed that, you know, when the children did act out from sitting there, that it was my responsibility to parent them. Whereas I saw it, that was his only parenting time and he could have stepped in to help, even if it was just his words.
And what were some of the inappropriate remarks that Mr. Reed made during those parenting times?
It was constantly, he would refer to everything as he. She has a new man. Any male's name that came up was assumed to be someone else, or someone who I'm sleeping with per se. It was stressful for not only me, but as well as the kids. Parenting time was hard to get them to sit down to talk to them. And it was extremely hard to calm them down after visitations. The kids had a lot of questions for him, which were never answered. It was always about him asking the questions and they should answer.
What were some of the kids' questions?
The kids always want to know where he was at or whose Jeep was parked in the driveway. It wasn't a blue Jeep. It was a silver or white Jeep. There was one or two instances, a female voice was in the background. There was actually another instance that there was an image of a female. They asked who it was and he says, "Oh, nobody." They didn't ask him a lot of questions other than something that they just saw.
So Mr. Reed was granted supervised phone parenting time or Zoom parenting time and also in-person parenting time in Texas. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did he exercise any in-person parenting time?
No, he did not.
And then the supervised parenting time was suspended or stopped by Hereford Investigations. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did Mr. Reed after that contact you to reestablish parenting time or make any efforts through any other agencies?
No, he never offered any other agencies. He just demanded that I should let him talk to them, that I should have them call him.
So since about April 14th, he has not spoken to the children?
No, he has not.
Is there any other factors or facts that the court needs to know, in your opinion, that we haven't gone over?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Is there anything else that you would like the court to know?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. The kids have never been left unattended. I've never had a drug problem. I've done everything possible to keep my children safe, whether it was in the home with him or whether it is now and in the present. I mean, my number one priority is the kids' well-being. I feel that I'm doing a pretty good job at the moment, meeting all their needs. I really don't know what else to say.
Do you believe that supervised parenting time for Mr. Reed is in the best interest of the children?
In the best interest of the children, I do not.
Do you believe that suspending his parenting time would be in the best interest of the children?
I do believe that it would. It's a lot of instability in their life. He pops in when it's convenient for him. He pops in because of his reactions, or pops out because of his reactions to things not going his way. I do believe that children, especially young children, need some type of stability. I need to be able to be honest with them and tell them what is going on. And I feel at this point, I really can't tell them anything because they don't understand. One minute he's present and the next he is not.
And so they don't understand that, why he's not. Is that correct?
They're just too young to understand. If I was to sit them down and tell them the truth, they don't understand that. All they see is Daddy called us one day, but Daddy doesn't call us the next, or the next visitation.
He makes some promises, is that correct, to the children during the visitation?
Yes.
And he does not follow through with those promises, is that correct?
No, he does not. There's been several instances where he'll tell Hartley, well, when you come back home to Daddy, I'm going to buy you a horse and I'm going to take you here and take you there. The truth of it is he never took them anywhere. The only places that he did take them, I was there as well. As far as taking them on his own, it never happened. Just, telling them, well, when you get home, you can have all your toys. And, when you come back to Daddy's house, I'm going to do this for you. And you're going to have the best birthday you've ever had when you come back here. And
that home that Mr. Reed is in, it was a rental home, is that correct?
3.
I'm sorry?
It's hard to explain to them, especially Hunter being only 3 years old. Hartley, she doesn't understand why she didn't receive any Christmas presents. She doesn't understand why Daddy didn't send her anything. She doesn't understand why Daddy's mean to me. She doesn't understand why we don't talk on the phone. Like I said, it's hard to explain to them the truth about what's going on without just crushing them.
Right. I was asking also about the marital home that Mr. Reed is in currently. That's a rental home, correct?
Correct.
And he indicated to you that he is no longer going to be in that home. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And do you know where he's going?
I have assumptions, but no, as far as facts, I do not.
And you also discussed something about your job situation and that you are not able to work due to Hunter's situation. Are you currently working at all? What is your plan for future?
My plan is to, obviously they're out for summer break right now. There's no daycare in the area to take both of the children, and I don't have babysitter help here. So my plan is to Hartley will go into first grade. Hunter will be going into pre-K, and that will give me an opportunity to find a job without having to pay for childcare. Not only is it not available, but I can't afford it either.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Reed, do you have any redirect for this witness? Other additional questions, I guess, is a way to put it.
Sorry, I was on mute. I apologize. Does that mean I'm able to ask her questions on what she just testified to her lawyer?
That's exactly right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to understand. And I'll try to make this as short as can be because I know you don't want to be here and go through all this. You stated that it's you and your 3 children that live in that home, correct, Kelly?
Correct.
Okay. Where does your mom reside at?
She no longer resides at this residence.
Okay. You had said that when you came.
Oh. Who's getting the vibes of like that desperation for info about somebody that you shouldn't need that info from because you've lost that chance. Do you know what I mean? Like that I don't know, I can just hear it in his voice. It sounds like somebody who shouldn't even get the grace of my lips saying their name and has mistreated their wife in court horribly. I'm getting those vibes big time. Also, everybody, thank you again for being here. If you're just getting here or if you're leaving for the night, please know that I love you. And hit that like or dislike button, whichever you prefer. That's how we take attendance around here. Also, happy Memorial Day weekend to y'all. And happy future to all our Australia people. We got to talk about that. Anyways, also, one last little service announcement at this brief intermission. You'll notice that our chat is quite busy, and part of that is Streamlabs. He's an asshole, and if you're not interested, if you're not interested in seeing the Streamlabs stuff go back and forth, but you'd still like to be watching the chat, feel free to go ahead and block that guy. And I know there is an unblock process, Raven, who I've seen you ask about that, and I believe somebody would be able to help you with that. However, if you don't want to see Streamlabs, no offense will be taken by me, and you will have a better chat experience. However, if you are addicted to KCC points, like a lot of you are, you may continue to gamble at your leisure with the many games we have available. Also, if you're new here, welcome. We use Larry Beaver. You would have seen him here earlier. He steps in for me whenever I have to take a break. He is a lawyer, but he doesn't talk much, so there's no real legal advice.
When I had asked you to come up here and keep Hunter because I was looking for a job, you had stated that we ended up meeting at Sportsman's Warehouse, and then after driving for a while, I turned off at Lowe's. Do you remember that statement?
This statement wasn't about you were looking for a job. I got a text message that told me.
Melissa has asked a great question. Melissa has asked, do we get a conclusion? Or is that for another time? Melissa, I'm going to be honest. I didn't do my homework. I don't know yet. we're watching this together. So at the end, we'll be able to tell people if there's a conclusion. But as of right now, we don't know yet. We're all in this together, baby.
Asking you,
Hunter.
let me ask that question again. You had stated when you were at Sportsman's Warehouse and we left that we drove around for a.
The secret is, MB, most of them are real reaction videos. I have never been good at doing my homework, ever.
Little bit, and then I finally turned off at Lowe's. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Lowe's is right across the street from Sportsman's Warehouse.
It's down the road.
Okay.
Again, relevance.
And then you stated out at the property we previously had that I locked the children in the car, correct?
Correct.
How do you lock the kids in the car?
With a key. Or you can do it by the door. You know what? It was not Lowe's. It was Home Depot. I'm sorry. I get them.
I'm sorry. I don't care. But it does remind me of a story that I will tell now, because I can. I have a daughter. She's almost turning 15 now. She's 14. When she was younger, I stayed home with her. I loved being a parent to a little child. It was really exciting for me, and I really enjoyed it. I threw myself into it as much as I could. And as a result, I was very busy at very many events all around our town for kids things. And one of the places in our town is called Tumble Bums. And it is like an indoor miniature gymnasium for like preschool, like babies and toddlers. And there's like a little cafe and there's a cafe and a little shop where you can buy toys. And there's even like just little cute things. And in fact, I believe I showed my picture of my daughter who was in Tumble Bums, in fact, the other day on the screen, because it was a part of our routine. It was ubiquitous, even though it was a far drive for my neck of the woods. We don't drive very far all the time. This is it. Okay, I'll just show this real quick. Where did it go? Pictures. Oh, well, maybe not. Anyways, regardless, one day we were leaving Tumble Bums, just after tumbling our bums, and I got my daughter into her car seat all appropriately. I made sure that she was buckled safely. I was like, and by the way, I had the super expensive top of the line car seat at the time. I did all this research on it. I was just like weirdly obsessed. But anyway, and by what I mean by that is I took safety very seriously. I would never, ever have allowed my daughter to ride unrestrained or not in a proper car seat. Like, it was important to me. And Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums. Oh, 5 times fast. Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums, Tumble Bums. Anyways, so I've gotten her into the car seat and I'm like, I'm gonna save me some time. And I take my car keys and I toss them into the front seat and I close her door and I walk around the vehicle over to the other side of the car and I pull on it and it's locked. And I'm like, what is happening right now? My car is not locked. That's not how that works. And I look in and my keys had like landed so that they had locked. They pressed the lock button. And my daughter is in the car. The keys are in the car. I am out of the car. she is restrained to the point where she's absolutely not able to get out of the car seat herself. No. And I'm like, oh, this is a problem. Like, I don't really want to break the window. I don't have an extra key. And remember, Tumblebums is not like our neighborhood jaunt, right? And also, I'm like, oh, she's here. Like, I can't leave her. And I think my purse was even in the car. And I was lucky that I was at Tumblebums where I knew people and knew the owners. And so I like ran over to them and I was like knocking on the window and somebody came out and I was like explain the situation. And when I would go over to the car, my daughter would cry. But when the other person would go over to the car, she wouldn't cry as much. And so we sort of teamed this up and I phoned the car like BCAA is what they call it. And like car assistance. And the guy came out and he used a blood pressure cuff to open it, which is something I know how to do now. And actually, like since that time, I've learned some of these skills, and I would have been able to do it myself. But it was completely accidental. It was traumatizing. It was not unsafe in the least for my daughter at all. But it was a accidental situation that can happen to the best of us by accident. So that's the story of that time I locked my daughter in the car. And again, like I felt like such an idiot. But it's not something you would really think would happen. But and of course you can't she's is again like if I was less safety conscious and I popped her in the car and allow her to buckle herself or didn't have a car seat that was impenetrable for children to escape from by on purpose and was specifically like fitted so that she was like well restrained, man, I was just I may have been in a different situation, but you know yeah, she was never in any danger. It wasn't, and it's not hot here where we are. Like nobody was, I was probably more uncomfortable than she was in the end. So, okay, let's continue on with this guy. There's a fly in here too. I'm gonna have to get it. Okay. Hi, kitty cat. It's okay. There's another cat out there. Solomon. Also, when I sold cars, I locked myself in the trunk of multiple cars as a sales technique. I would, I would, I would explain the trunk space with body amounts. I'd be like, you could fit 3 bodies in this trunk. And then I would get in the trunk and invite people to get in. That worked a lot. People were very impressed with the body space amount. And I actually encourage you the next time you go to buy a car to ask that question of your salesperson. If they're willing to go the extra mile and get into the back of the car, well, first of all, you don't lock yourself in because all cars these days have special escape mechanisms. And that's part of what I would explain as well. Like, I would be like, lock myself in, close the trunk lid, and then pop out from the middle of the car. And these were usually cars that were in the showroom when I was bored, often. Yeah, trunk releases. Also, the housing of the light is going to be the area where there's the least amount of stuff if there's no trunk release. But also, so that's where you would kick if you needed to in an older car or one without a release. But I've been in the back. I've been in the back of every kind of Volkswagen you could imagine. Sounds so much dirtier than it is. But yeah, so if you put the reason that a blood pressure cuff works and it the other thing that will work, oh, there was something else that works as well. But basically, if you have enough space at the top, and you can always pry a window slightly to have enough space to slide something flat in, like a blood pressure cuff. And all you have to do is do it enough to open it this much so that you can then get um the hook in, and you then manually get the lock or the latch. So again, Tesla, no, this would not work. But in my 2005 Hyundai at the time, this was the way that we would go. Also, one time I was selling, another time I was selling cars, and what you do when you sell a car at the end is called a delivery. And the delivery is the final part of the sales process. And so it's really important because it's like the last sort of part. It's where the person gets their car and they get to, leave with their car. How much time somebody spends delivering the car to you really depends on how important of a customer you are and what kind of car you've bought and what kind of debrief you need. But oftentimes we would help each other out. I didn't sell a lot of cars, but I was really nosy, so I would get involved in other people's deals and chit chat with everybody. And so one point there was a car, and oftentimes you try and make people feel really special, right? So the delivery of a car would happen right in the front of the car dealership in this spot, and everyone that's not busy would go out and sort of ooh and ah over this great purchase. What a great idea. Like that's all planned. And so everybody was out front, and it turned out that they had done just like I did. They locked the keys in the car, but this was a brand new car, and because it wasn't because because it was already technically delivered, right? Signed, sealed, delivered. The cost of getting the keys out of the car is somebody's cost. And to the car company or the car dealership, they don't want to deal with that cost, even if it was their fault. And if it's the customer, you don't really want to end the delivery by being like, hey, we gotta fucking pay $50 to get this out or whatever. So everybody's sort of trying, but you also don't want to scratch somebody's car, all this stuff. Anyways, finally I get interested. I've been told to keep out of deliveries. Like you're not allowed to go over to deliveries. But this was so like there was enough people milling about. I was like, oh, I could get out here, right? So all the guys, and this is the honest truth, I'm the only woman out there, and all the guys are trying the door, trying all these different ways to get into the car. And I'm walking around the car, and I like put my hand underneath the window part of the back car, and I'm like, it's open. I pull it up, I climb in the car, and I grab the keys out and I open the door. And they're just like looking at me. And I was like, 45 minutes they were all standing there, and none of them had tried all the doors. Like, that's your first step. Try all the doors.
I'm confused. Home Depot is through the intersection to the right. My apologies.
Okay. Well, like I said, how do you lock the children in the car where they can't get out? Can you not open the door handle?
Yes, you can, but they wouldn't know that you would need to pull the lock to open it.
Okay. You had stated previously, I think you kind of referred to it in here, that when you were in Indiana, and I came there, that I grabbed Hunter and took off running. Is that still your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, do you mind if I send you a video of that incident, Your Honor?
How Videos are generally okay. How do we plan on doing that?
I just sent it through email to you. To the email that you provided me, and I guess just for you to see the video, and you can share it with her lawyer if that's the typical way you do it. I'm not sure. I just wanted to be on record because she stated numerous times that I grabbed our son and took off running. I just wanted to prove another lie. That was not the case.
Did you send that video to Ms. Sheldon?
My lawyer had sent it to Miss Sheldon when I had a lawyer.
Okay, Ms. Sheldon, have you received that video?
I would have to look at it. I don't recall receiving a video of anything.
One second.
We get video here? Oh my god. Larry Beaver on deck. Larry Beaver on deck. Larry Beaver on deck. This is another good time for a med check, folks. Med check, med check, med check.
In the exhibits I received, the emails I received from Ms. Neros' office on April 4th, 2023, one of the there are 3 items. One of them is a video.
Okay.
So I don't know if that, do you know if that's the only, I'm not trying to get into what you discussed with your attorney, sir. So just
no, I don't mind.
Just trying to identify an exhibit. Do you know just off the top of your head whether or not there were other videos? Meaning is, do you think that's the video?
I believe that was the video. Yes, sir.
All right.
That was April 4th, Your Honor?
Correct. And it was a Dropbox link, and then I opened the Dropbox link, and now I have three document. Well, okay, 3. I have an exhibit 2, which is a video, an exhibit 1, and then another exhibit 2. But I didn't mean to say documents, because I only, the one says exhibit 2 video, so I have to assume it's probably a video.
Is it titled something?
Exhibit 2. Yeah, exhibit 2 video.
Exhibit 2 video.
And the email that I have says this link has also been shared with Attorney Sheldon.
Is it from Ms. Neros directly, or is it another?
No, from Ms. Hostetler.
Hostetler? Okay. That must be why I can't find it.
This doesn't say you were CC'd on it, but it says she made a point of saying that they shared the link.
Nope. I must have missed it somewhere.
Well, do you have an objection to me reviewing the video then? I mean, what I'm trying to do is see.
I'm trying to see if this is I have a protected message from them. Sometimes my server doesn't allow outside links, and maybe that's what happened. But no objections, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't I try to do this then, Mr. Reed?
Yes, sir.
I'll try to play it and share screen it.
Okay.
So if everyone could just kind of give me a second, because sometimes what happens is when you click on things, like I'm going to click on it first. And if it starts playing, just don't worry. Okay, good. Now I'll do our share screen, because when you do share screen sometimes and you're opening things, it doesn't follow you to where you just opened, which is my way of describing it in a way that I don't understand technology. So, all right. Can everybody see this?
It's like upside down.
Yeah. Let me see. Oops. Well, I don't know how to fix.
I don't think you can fix it.
I don't
think
know
you
how
have
to
to
fix
play
something
it.
that's upside down.
I can fix
So
it.
this is about. It says it's 1 minute and 7. It's 1 minute 7 seconds long, sir. Is that the video?
Let me. I'm trying to see where it says. Yes, sir. That's the video.
Okay, so we'll play this and we'll handle it whether it's admitted once we're done here.
On their shoulders.
Who's giving this a 1 out of 10? This is a 0. Is that a joke? Is that a joke? Hold on. What? Did I miss something? Was that supposed to show anything at all? It didn't even say anything at all. I even flipped it upside down for us. Can you imagine if that wasn't upside down?
Okay, before we move on to questions, Mr. Reed, is that the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Sheldon, any objections?
No, yeah.
And
Unless there's an objection.
I object. They didn't see it. We're going back. We're going to watch this shit again, and it's shit. Let me tell you that right now. Also, guys, this is peak internet time in my area because this is it. This is like the late night crew, 7:15. They're like, "Oh my God, we got to go to bed." Let's just start this off. We're going to do this. We are also just going to zoom right in on the video. I'm going to do some fancy edits on the go.
And technology. So, all right. Can everybody see this?
It's like upside down.
Yeah. Let me see. Oops. Well, I don't know how to fix.
I don't think you can fix it.
I don't
think you
know how
have
to
to
fix
play
something
it.
that's upside.
Ta-da!
So this is it says it's 1 minute and 1 minute 7 seconds long, sir. Is that the video?
Let me. I'm trying to see where it says.
We're all trying to see what
Yes,
this
sir,
video
that's
has,
the
sir.
video.
I've gone back.
So we'll play this and we'll handle it whether it's admitted once we're done here.
Also, guys, I've fixed it for you. It is no longer upside down. This is right side up. I have corrected the video. He insisted upon filming it with what I believe is one of those hop it skipping function things that you put around one ankle and you hop over and it keeps track of how many rounds you do. I believe that is the only explanation for how that was filmed. What is that called? A hop it? A skip it? You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, before we move on to questions, Mr. Reed, is that the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Sheldon, any objections?
No, yeah.
And
I object.
Unless there's an objection in terms of labeling, I'm going to keep this as a plaintiff's exhibit 2. Do you have a problem with that, Mr. Reed?
No, sir.
Just because it's what's labeled in my email. If there is an objection from, once I decide the case and there's an objection by either party and someone wants to look at the exhibits, the reason why I'm just keeping it as is so that someone can easily identify it. So it's convenience purposes. If you want it labeled something else, we can do that.
Whatever's easiest for you is fine.
All right, Ms. Sheldon, then any objection to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2, the video being admitted?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted. Okay, so Mr. Reed, you're welcome to ask Ms. Reed questions. And then if you just tell me when we're done with the share screen, I'll close it so I can.
We can be done with it. We've all watched.
Okay. Thank you. All right, there we go.
And I apologize for my arm moving. I was holding a child in my arms. So Kelly, you had stated in every court hearing to this date that I took off running with Hunter, correct?
Correct.
Does that look like I'm running?
From the looks of that video that was started recording once you had hit the businesses, there was a small shopping mall, which would have been clear across the parking lot. When you left the parking lot of the hotel, you did take off running. At that time when I notified the hotel that they should call 911. Then I came out, which I assume was about the time that you started videotaping again.
Okay. Well, anyhow, you said I ran all the way to my truck and drove off with our son. That's what I'm asking. Does it look like I'm running in that video?
I couldn't really tell.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was kind of hard to tell. I was hoping, judging by the vehicle that was passed, that you could tell that I'm 6'5". You could tell I wasn't running. I have pretty long strides. Anyhow, but you did state previously that I grabbed our son and took off running, correct?
Correct, you did.
Okay. All right. Did your lawyer or did you receive anything from me asking for the kids' info to add them to Blue Cross medical insurance?
I believe you had sent a couple of text messages, but it was set up through a friend of the court. that you are not responsible for the child's health care. I am.
I am paying for child's health care.
Is that a question?
That if you have it, yes, it's broke down. I am paying for child health care, correct? It's on the breakdown of, I never got a copy. I was just told by my lawyer.
No, it's not on the breakdown.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's in the court orders through friend of the court.
Okay. Am I, Your Honor, am I allowed to ask her lawyer if she received that request? Or do I need to wait?
Well, so here's the thing. If you're asking her if she received something and we have an exhibit to go over, we could do it that way. But if you're asking Ms. Sheldon to sort of testify or verify facts, that's not, no, you couldn't do that.
Okay.
The reason why I was asking Ms. Sheldon about whether she received the video or anything was so that I had the email so we could kind of get things going here in court.
Yes, sir. No, I understand.
Similar to when right. So similar to when I was asking you if you received the email from Ms. Sheldon.
Thank you, sir. When you came to pick up your Jeep, in Michigan, who all came with you?
I do not believe that's relevant.
It will be relevant with my question.
No one. I came by myself.
Okay, you stated that Hunter cannot leave your side 24/7. He has to be on your side. That's a long trip to be away from him when you state that he can't leave your side.
Correct.
Okay, that's a. So you did not bring Hunter, correct?
No, I did not.
Okay. Are the kids? You stated that the kids are going. I can only imagine through a very hard emotional time. Have you enrolled them into counseling?
I attempted to enroll them into counseling. Due to me having the kids 24/7, I'm unable to enroll Hartley due to I have to go to the counseling sessions before she does without children. And as far as Hunter goes, he cannot seek counseling until the age of 4.
So the people that watch the kids, would they not be able to watch them so you could go to the counseling to get it set up to help the children?
There are no people that watch the children, only in instances where I have no other choice.
Okay. Hey, why were the cars not in your name? You stated nothing was in your name.
There was absolutely nothing in my name. I wasn't allowed to have anything in my name.
Do they usually finance somebody with a 400 credit score for a $70,000 vehicle?
I'm not sure. I don't know who has a 400 credit score.
Okay, did you qualify for a vehicle when the vehicles were bought?
I'm not sure. It was never checked.
Okay. It wouldn't be because your credit was so bad from being behind on child support, would it?
I've never had bad credit.
Okay. And you stated your phone always got cut off. I'd cut your phone off. That's the first thing I would do, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Have you ever cut off my phone?
No, I didn't cut off your phone. Your phone was actually in my name, and yes, I did.
Did you cut off my phone? No.
No, I did not cut your phone.
Okay. All right. So when Hunter was living with his father, you didn't cut all services off, cell phone and internet?
Yes, I cut off services in my name. I did.
Okay.
Once
So you did cut
I
off.
vacated the property, I cut off services that were in my name.
So before the last hearing, when the judge said basically we both needed to find a job, you stated to him that there was nobody hiring around you, correct?
No, I didn't say that no one was hiring.
You said that you had put in hundreds of applications, correct?
Correct.
And that nobody, and he said that he actually looked on the computer to verify, correct, that there was plenty of job opportunities in your area, correct?
In the area, yes.
Okay, but now you're stating that
Object. Somebody object. This is argumentative. I don't like it.
you can't get a job because of the children is the
As I
reason.
said before, correct.
So before you could, and now you can't.
No, I was actually looking for at-home, work from home jobs,
Okay.
which I find, considering the circumstances, doing the best I can.
So you don't want me to see the kids or talk to them? Yes or no?
No, I mean,
Okay. Okay. Do you treat the kids like property, like a car, as opposed to loving children?
no, I do not.
You stated on record that the children asked whose Jeep was in the driveway, that silver. Who do we know that owns a silver Jeep that also owns the house it was parked at?
I'm not sure who owns the Jeep. I do know that you purchased it. So they just asked whose
silver
Jeep
Jeep?
was in the parking lot.
I purchased a silver Jeep.
Yes, you did. You've had it for several months until your mother took it.
My mother took it. Okay. So you're going to state on record that I purchased a silver Jeep.
I assume that you purchased it. The Jeep was parked in your driveway for several months. That was your vehicle that you were driving, and that was the vehicle you drove to your girlfriend's house.
Okay. I would appreciate if we didn't make speculations on girlfriends, friends, or anything if you don't want me to make speculations. So your testimony is I have a silver Jeep and it's mine. And now it's my mother's?
I'm not
Correct.
sure who the Jeep belongs to. I just know the Jeep was in your possession for several months.
You just said that I purchased it.
I'm sorry, this is objection. It's getting argumentative. I don't know what silver Jeep has to do with anything. It really doesn't.
I'm trying to prove it. I'm sorry.
I do know that you were trying to purchase the Jeep prior to my departure from Michigan. So I assume that you did end up purchasing it, which is why it was parked at your house for several months.
Okay. The owners of the Jeep, do they live here in Michigan full time?
I'm not sure who owns the Jeep.
So do you know Mr. and Mrs. Michael and Cheryl Morrow?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you know Mr. Michael and Cheryl Morrow?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you're aware that they have a silver Jeep, correct?
They did at one time.
Okay. All right. Did you ever hit me in the face with a loaded pistol that jammed?
I did hit you in the face with the butt end of a pistol
Yep.
that was not loaded.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm not muted. I'm just speechless that this is getting there. Did Judge react at all? Has Judge reacted at all? This is MB. This is raw.
Another question. Do you find it appropriate to have the kids present during this hearing so they can hear everything that is emotional to them?
I'm sorry, I have no other choice for childcare.
Okay.
I would say, I didn't know the kids were there. I would say it's not appropriate.
I don't think they've been here the whole time. I've heard them the whole time.
I cannot tell what everyone's noises are.
Yes, sir. No, I'm completely by myself. There's both children are there in her presence.
I do have these children full time. I do not have a babysitter nor childcare for one of the children.
How old is that child? Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Put on a fucking TV show. Give them a candy. I mean, seriously, you can occupy kids. You could prep for this. I've taken a kid on a plane. Okay? You can prep to have a kid occupied. I'm sorry. And you can also like set some expectations to be out of earshot, putting on headphones to make sure that they're not hearing this kind of thing. That would be a step one if you seriously can't remove yourself at all, at the very least, and then remove yourself so that they're not hearing you testify. I'm horrified by your testimony. Also, this is why like you need to have a group of friends as parents, because I can tell you right now, any friend that asked me was like, "Hey, I got to go to court for this thing with my ex-husband about the kids. Could you do me a solid?" I can do you a solid. Yes, I could do you a solid. Absolutely. Even if I just meet you at the park, you go to the other side of a field and all the kids play together on a playground. We can do that. Like there are ways to make these things not happen with kids there. And it makes me unimpressed when you can't think outside the box a little bit.
I apologize that they are present. I'm trying my best to keep him entertained.
But you could.
It's really inappropriate for the kids to be hearing what's going on in this case. What was your plan, ma'am, if we had an in-person case?
I'm not sure how I would have made it happen. My hands are tied. I'm doing the best that I can.
But you could find somebody to watch him to come get a vehicle.
Hey, and I do not disagree. I'm not saying that this woman had it in her abilities at this point to get the help that she needs. What I'm saying is, I made it a mission with my mommy group with 500 moms, local moms, that this is the type of thing that we knew about was upcoming. If it was upcoming, we rallied around people for, and I personally made it my business to get into people's business and deal with it because I'm nosy like that. It's how I kept going. Like that's how I was so interested in being a mom. I took my daughter everywhere. We did play dates every single day of the week, like big play groups out in public and businesses and different things like that with 20, 30 moms. And all the different time I'm like figuring out how to connect people so that, oh, you both live in this area, or you guys can do this together or that together, so that down the road this day comes up, even if it's out of mommy group time, you've still got something like, hey, you have somebody to call, Your group therapist told you not to get into others' business in group therapy? Does that not sound just completely counterintuitive to what the point of group therapy would be?
I was court ordered to appear in Michigan, so I followed court orders.
Okay, all right.
R. Fulmer. Okay, I was like, she does have an attorney. Not a good one at this point. No offense, allegedly, in my opinion.
But you could find somebody to watch the kids then.
I cannot. I don't have a built-in babysitter.
You stated that your parents are there to support you 100%. Your mom doesn't have a job, does she?
I never stated they were here to support me 100%, and I don't believe my mom's occupation is relevant.
Okay. You've stated so many times that you're just a victim of all these different things. If I was a victim of said things, I'd be scared. You're scared, correct?
Sometimes yes, most of the
Okay.
time no.
Do most scared people come to somebody's house and try to break in and then wave at the surveillance cameras around the house to provoke them?
An objection, it's evidence. The evidence is not offered. He's assuming facts, not in evidence.
I can send it.
He's just testifying.
No, I mean, sir, you'd have to rephrase it to where you're asking her that instead of making a statement.
Okay. Kelly, would you say that somebody that is very scared and has been so abused throughout the years would go to somebody's house, run around the house, and try to break in and wave at the cameras with a big smile on your face? Would that be something that a scared person would do?
It just depends on the situation.
Yes or
I'm not
no?
scared anymore.
I
And you
think it
weren't there.
calls for speculation, Your Honor. There's no date or time. What he's
Oh,
talking about.
I
there's
mean,
no
part of,
foundation.
the way I understand the question is he's trying to set up a hypothetical. Perhaps you all know something that I don't, but he's just setting up a hypothetical. So I guess it doesn't apply. It's not proof of anything in this case, or you can ask that as a hypothetical, I guess.
Can I send you the picture with the big smile and waving, Judge?
So the issue.
The issue I'm having lately is all these men getting upset at women they've abused for doing things like sending them lingerie pictures or twerking too much or smiling at their cameras. I don't like this vibe from big fella over here. Yeah, you. Blake Reed, allegedly.
There's some confusion here. We just don't have any evidence that anything like this occurred. And so what you're pulling out in terms of a question is introducing new facts. And that's not the way this works.
Okay.
So if you want to testify to something like this that you believe occurred, you'll be able to do that once it's your opportunity. But in terms of whether Ms. Goggins-Reed can testify to that, you'd have to ask her if anything like that even happened first.
Okay. I apologize.
So in other words, nobody's denying that occurred. No one's saying that it did occur. Does that make sense? This doesn't exist yet on this record.
Yes, sir. I understand. I apologize. Kelly Reed, did you wave at the camera and smile?
Your Honor, there's no context. How would my client know what camera, when, where? There has to be basic foundation questions that ask that. Were you at this location? I don't know what house he's talking about. I don't know
What are you doing? Objection, foundation. Shut up. Why are you guys giving him an impromptu law lesson right now? We know why he hasn't laid the foundation. Stop helping him.
city he's talking about.
I would apologize. Kelly, did you wave at the camera to the right of the garage door at 5492 North Liberty Drive, Traverse City, Michigan, that is located in the upper right-hand soffit, the upper right-hand corner?
You're doxing
above
yourself.
The
I'm so
garage
bad.
door. Did you wave and smile?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you stated that I never sent pictures of the children or of Hunter when I had him, correct?
A couple of pictures you did, mainly
stated-
just while he was with his friends. Your friends?
Okay. You stated yes or no that you testified that I never sent pictures? Is yes or no?
You sent a couple of pictures, mainly you with a gun, him with a gun.
Me with a gun. Okay. So you lied and you said that I never sent you pictures when logically you knew that I did. Correct?
Objection.
They were only pictures, just trying to prove some type of point. Were they pictures of my son playing and happy? No.
Okay, so you never received about 24 pictures from the fair with your son that you returned text messages over?
I got maybe 1 or 2 at the fair, not dozens.
Okay. I guess those emails and texts didn't go through. Did you get?
Well, that's bad aim, but I luckily the BC pot market is separate from the California one, luckily, but I don't doubt it. There's very many vulnerabilities in mass growth of marijuana. Also, seriously, what the hell is going on here? Lawyer, I am trying to get through this. I have places to be tonight, and yet I have to keep interrupting because you're not doing shit. Judge Hagan and I are both done. Do you see our maps? We're busy people.
Get pictures of him petting a white deer and feeding deer out of his hand?
Yes.
Okay, so you got those pictures too, but you said you didn't get pictures.
When I asked for them, no, I did not.
Okay. How many times have I tried to divorce you?
Once.
Once. Okay. So the first time I filed for divorce here, when the judge threw it out, one time in Texas after you tried to, did I or did I not file
What's the question?
for divorce in Texas after you tried to shoot me and busted my lip all the way through to my teeth with a pistol? Did I not file for divorce there too? Miss Reed?
Okay, I'm sorry, I had connection issues. Can you repeat that?
Problem. No problem. Yes. So, did I or did I not file for a divorce when you hit me in my mouth with a pistol after it jammed? Did I not file for divorce shortly after that in Texas?
No, the divorce had nothing to do with that incident. Okay. The divorce was filed during a custody battle.
Okay. There was, at that time, there was no.
Huh? I don't understand. The divorce was filed because of the custody battle? That's odd to me. Can you get a custody battle without a divorce? I guess you could. I don't understand that.
No children born of mine.
Yes, there were.
Okay.
I'm not saying that she's innocent at all, Rita. And if I had her picture, she'd be up here too. We're listening to the evidence, and like I've said, I'm listening to it for the first time with you guys too at this point. But yeah. I don't like that. I don't like her being violent about anything. I don't like anybody being violent with anybody unless they explicitly consent and want to, and you have a good relationship. You know, I'll make coffee cups.
So I filed for divorce. This will be my third time, not one time. Would you agree?
I put the two together from this current divorce, but yes.
But I had to file a third time. So it's not one time that you stated, correct?
I was thinking one other time. These two during this divorce, I included as one. My mistake. I guess there's actually been 3 divorces filed, one in Texas and 2 in Michigan back to back.
So why didn't you file for divorce if you were being abused?
Have fun, Alex G. Thanks for coming. Make sure you clock in for your shift. Dude, it is so not cool to ask about why abused people don't leave their abusers sooner. They've already figured this one out. They used to fall for it, they don't as much anymore. So honestly, it just makes you sound really bad. And she's bad too, hitting him with the pew pews and that's not how I roll. I feel bad for the kids. Absolutely 100%. I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the judge. I feel bad for the judge. I don't feel bad for the lawyer. You could decimate this guy. And that's what I would do if I was a lawyer. I would object to everything. I would literally make him cry with objections. And I've heard lawyers do that to other lawyers. So I know you can do it. Okay? The judge might not be happy about it, but I would do it. I'd be objecting left, right, and center. Seriously. I cannot understand this. The judge may say, oh, we have to give broad leeway when we have pro se clients or pro se defendants because of their right to defend themselves. However, there is always the obligation that they have to be understanding of the law and able to do so with with the knowledge they're to be treated like a lawyer. And honestly, so annoying. I didn't cook yet tonight, Alex. I've made scrambled eggs a bunch today, though. Take that as you may. I know they're not
Kelly?
treated like lawyers, but I have seen pro se people in custody cases specifically, Raven, be railroaded in a way that may seem unfair in some cases. However, it is what is needed in this case. This is out of control questioning that is overly broad, unspecific, and irrelevant, in my opinion.
Yes, I'm here.
Why didn't you file for divorce if I was so abusive? Why was I the one filing?
I had no money to file for a divorce.
How much have you spent on your lawyer you have now?
I believe it's irrelevant.
No, I mean, I believe it's relevant. You're saying you didn't have the money. I'm asking how much you've spent on the lawyer you're using now.
They can let him sink himself.
Was there an
already.
objection?
Hello?
I think there was a. Your Honor, it's irrelevant. And I can state for the record that I'm legal service attorney, Your Honor. Miss Reed does not pay for my services. State of Michigan does.
Okay. So you didn't have money, but if you claim a victim, you can get a free lawyer, correct, Kelly?
That's not correct.
Objection?
Okay.
Argumentative.
All right. So if you're being abused here, was I around you 24/7 here?
No, not 24/7.
So why wouldn't you go file for a protective order if you were being abused?
Because I wasn't a legal resident of Michigan.
I don't think you need to be a legal resident to get protection if you're actually being abused.
Objection? Is
If
that a
you
question,
lived
Your
here.
Honor?
You weren't a legal resident of Texas when you tried to file for that.
When I abused
Yes,
you.
I was.
You're a legal resident of Texas at that time? After 2
Yes.
days there?
Texas's laws are different.
Residency law in Texas is 6 months.
Objection? Is that a question,
Okay, but
Your
to
Honor?
file a protective order, as long as I have the proof that I reside here, such as a driver's license, you can file for one.
Okay. So how did you get a driver's license in that state after 2 days? Or as soon as you found out I
Objection
filed for divorce, you
relevance.
filed for a protective order, which you told me you would do if I filed for the divorce. How did you get a driver's license in a state you weren't a resident? You didn't have any mail going to that address. You hadn't lived there for the legal amount of time. Did you lie on paperwork to get the driver's license?
Objection compound.
No,
I have
and
a
that's actually
question somewhere. I'm sorry, but this is continuing to be a testimony and argumentative from the plaintiff. And I just want him to ask the questions, and then maybe my client can answer, and maybe he won't interfere or interrupt when she's trying to answer the question.
I apologize. I'm just trying to prove a trend of the avenue she's trying to go with.
Okay.
That's not a legal-
It's just, it's the same format for every witness, so we'll just ask questions and we'll get answers, and then that's how we'll do it.
Okay. I apologize, sir, if I asked something wrong. So Kelly, how were you able to get a driver's license in Texas after a couple days?
I filed for a driver's license and realized that I was not a resident of Michigan when I got the driver's license there. Therefore, they renewed my Texas driver's license that was not expired.
How long did so you had before Michigan, you had a driver's license from Texas, correct?
Correct.
And you renewed that even though you didn't live in the state of Texas, correct?
Had property in the state of Texas.
You had property in the state of Texas?
Yes.
What property did we own in the state of Texas?
Several different properties.
So I'd like that to be admitted into evidence that we own property in Texas.
I never said we owned property. That doesn't mean that you don't reside there.
Objection. That's not a
You
question.
stated you were never allowed to leave to go back to Texas, but yet you resided in Texas and you had 2 properties there?
Objection. Is that a question?
No, that's not what I said. Don't twist my words.
No, I'm trying to understand. I apologize.
You don't apologize. You're lying. You liar, 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 sin allegedly, in my opinion. Also, hi, Keeper. Hope you're doing well. Also, hi, insert funny name here, or insert funny name. I always say here in my head. All of these are irrelevant, in my opinion. I do not care. I know there's wide berth given because of these types of hearings, but seriously, this is not exciting to me to watch this lawyer just sort of allow this to happen. Honestly, I'm now stepping in with what I actually think are actual objections to what he's saying. And I get that it would be annoying, but she's giving him the deference that you would give to other places, like another lawyer, without him really deserving it. Also, welcome, Donut Jonut. How are these being streamed? Well, there's this fancy dancy thing called YouTube, and it's there. So if you are interested, you've come to the right place. This is a bit of a deep corner of the court YouTube area, but welcome. Ask any questions.
You stated that you had a Texas driver's license because you had 2 properties in Texas, correct?
No.
Oh. Where do the 2 properties come from? What are the 2 properties that you have in Texas?
What 2 properties are you talking about?
Your Honor, did I not hear something right that she said she had 2 properties in Texas?
Ma'am, is there a way we can help you? I guess the issue is, I would just clarify, do you own 2 properties in Texas, ma'am?
No, I do not.
Okay, so you'll have to follow up on that, sir. I don't know what else to tell you.
Can I ask if you heard the same thing?
Because she said no, so why don't you ask her what she owns there? We can only accept the answers we have.
Okay. All right. So you were a resident of Texas And that's why you had a driver's license in Texas, correct?
Asked and answered.
When you lived in California, you were a resident of Texas, correct? Kelly?
You'll
didn't
have to repeat.
understand the question.
There's connection issues.
No problem. Sorry, I'll repeat it. So, when you lived in California, did you live in California?
Yes.
Okay, but you lived in California for how long?
4 years.
Okay, but you're a resident of Texas when you lived in California, is what you testified to.
Correct. I never changed my driver's license.
Okay.
She lived in Texas when you were on the top 10 most wanted list, sir? Or was it in California where you were arrested? I don't know. That might be more interesting to the judge. I really don't think he gives a crap about when her frickin' license was renewed or where. Y'all have these like state to state to state little, nobody gives a shit. You're allowed to move from state to state. It's like, oh, you were in Michigan and you were in California and you were in Texas? Yeah, I was. I mean, I wasn't. I was in Canada the whole time.
All right. And then when you went back, you told them that you had never left Texas, correct?
I never told him anything. That's not correct.
Okay.
Stephen Rosen, I would have to go to a lot of school to get my way into law school. I looked into it and, well, you know me, I'm just not neurodivergent, or I am neurodivergent, so my brain's a little crazy. Oh, yes, I am from Canada, Chris. I've been liking your Canadian flag symbol all night. Wow. Also, if you guys haven't already hit that like button, hit that like button.
So the incident where me and you had physical altercation that you referred to, that you filed charges, do you remember what medication I was on? Miss Reed? Is it my phone?
Oops, and I was on mute. Sorry. So yeah, no, I'm not hearing her either, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Reed?
Yes, I'm here.
Keeps
Okay.
cutting out. I think if we're continuing to have some more issues, I'm going to give you a number you can call, because neither of you are on video anyway. So I can just get you to call in a number, and then we're not, sometimes the video interferes with things. So
Okay.
I don't know. Do we have many more questions for her, Mr. Reed?
I just had a few. I guess we can see if her phone stays connected or whatever you want.
All right. If it doesn't, then ma'am, be prepared. I'm going to give you a different number to call, and I'm not going to give it on YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
Miss Reed, when supposedly all the physical violence happened roughly 6 years ago, do you remember what medication I was on?
The physical violence was over a duration of several years, so no, I do not.
Okay. Let me rephrase this. The physical violence that you referred to and that you and your lawyer keep going back to at the house in Hawkins, Texas, do you remember what kind of medication I was on?
You'll have to be specific as to which instance you're talking about.
Objection? Why does it matter what medication she remembers he was on? He could testify to this. Why would he bring this in through her?
There was only one instance.
That's debatable. Which instance are you talking
Okay,
about?
do you remember me being on a Fexer? Let me just rephrase that for you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what it did?
I'm not sure.
You don't remember, but you can remember everything else. You don't remember I was up with no sleep for almost 5 days.
Your Honor, again, he's testifying through my client instead of allowing my client to go. And then he's very welcome to take the stand and testify on his behalf about his medication, about his other issues, and his arguments. I apologize. I don't think it's appropriate to try to testify through my client.
I was just
I agree with some of it, but I mean, his question was more of, he was asking how she could remember some things and not others. I'm not so sure that was an inappropriate question. So,
I think it was
sir,
argumentative.
if you're
Judge.
asking follow-up questions, just make sure that they are questions and not statements.
Yes, sir. I apologize. I'm doing the best I can here. Miss Reed, do you remember how many days I was awake for with no sleep and no food when they changed my medication?
I don't know, and I didn't know they changed any medication. I believe that was your.
Okay. All right.
I don't recall the correct answer to that, and every question that he's going to ask.
How do you think that the children not seeing their father affects them when I've been a part of their life from day one?
I believe it affects them in multiple ways, being that they don't understand the situation. But at this point, they've been away from you so long. To be honest, you didn't have much to do with them while we were present in your life, and you continue to not be much of a part of their life now.
Okay. All right. So I never did anything with my kids is what you're testifying to. Never did anything. I never went anywhere with them. I never did anything, correct?
Objection. As soon
You
as
never
facts
went
not in
anywhere with the
evidence,
kids without
misstates
me
the
present.
testimony.
Okay. So I never took the kids fishing multiple times, correct?
I was always present.
You were present. What if I had a picture in a boat with Hartley and you not in the boat and it shows the whole boat? Were you in the water present?
I was the one taking the picture.
Okay. You stated whenever I got my son and brought him home to his home where he was comfortable and safe that the police department contacted me and wanted to do a welfare check, correct? Because, okay. And you knew I wasn't present there, and were you able to hear the conversation between me and the officer?
I heard some of the conversations, not all of them, but they were not trying to do a welfare check at your home.
Of course, I wasn't at home. We're 2 hours into...
I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood you. I thought that's what you just said.
No, they wanted me 2 hours after you had called them to do a welfare check, and they wanted me to turn around and bring my son back to...
Mr. Reed, is there a question coming?
Yes, sir. Did I offer to do a welfare check at the nearest police department?
No, you did not.
Okay. How many welfare checks did you call into the sheriff's department in Grand Traverse County?
I called one welfare check after I received the text messages that Ms. Sheldon showed about did I get Hunter. You never responded. Therefore, I was concerned and asked that someone go and check to see if Hunter was okay.
Okay, so the multiple welfare checks that they have on record, and they said they got tired of coming out, you have no knowledge of?
sorry, I have to interrupt because I see Keeper and Tupac talking in the chat about marmots. And I just would like you to know that on my island, there is a Vancouver Island marmot, which is a very specific thing that lives only here that's really cool. You should check that out. Let's listen to the rest of this shit.
The phone call. You have no knowledge of that, correct?
No knowledge of what?
The multiple times that you would try to get the law enforcement to come to my house to.
There were multiple times that I tried to have law enforcement at your house, although there were multiple times you've sent them to mine.
Okay. Correct. Very correct. Is this a trend with you to treat the children as property and keep them away from somebody?
Objection, Your Honor. I mean, there's no record that my client is treating her children as property. I think that is prejudicial and inappropriate commenting and statement by the plaintiff.
Okay, I'll rephrase my question. Do you normally take the children? Is this a normal thing for you to take the children and leave and tell me I won't see them until I do what you want?
No, I've never made that comment.
Okay. All right.
Sir, Your Honor, I got a question. Anytime that I answer his questions, I'm cut off by just awful, laughing, cackling, smirking, as well as he's asking me questions and adding in his own opinions to these. I don't.
Smirking. How can she see him? I'm like double checking. I'm like, did I like cut them off by accident? No, I didn't. What? That's weirding me out. You need to just cry or just answer one or two words. But this is a weird twist, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get this. That's from Jaime Gone. Seriously, there's nobody here. What the heck? He is smirking with that. I understand that, but she needs to be just less responsive. She's allowed to do that, unfortunately. It's really hard because he's triggering and he is gaslighting and he's trying his best. But she could say, I don't recall, yes, no, and stop there and just stop. And it's as hard as it could be. But if she had a lawyer that she paid and that she was prepped by, that's what she would be doing. And they would be objecting like left, right, and center, like I am, yelling.
Feel that this is right at all.
Ma'am, I believe I've redirected him each time. I'm not. I asked him to mute the last time. I did not hear anything this last time, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Your attorney hasn't objected yet, and when she does, I've ruled on those objections. So, I didn't hear any. I mean, I don't know. I didn't hear anything, any response from him to your last question. So I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest.
The last response that I gave before I could finish, I hear, yeah.
Well, I think that some of what's going on is your phone keeps cutting out, ma'am. And so because I'm not hearing him, I don't hear Mr. Reed respond every time to you. He has done so, and I have admonished him. So let's keep moving. Mr. Reed.
Yes, sir. So you would agree, Miss Reed, that the kids are in a safe environment?
Yes, I do agree.
Okay. Would you agree your father's a safe person for the children to be around?
My kids are not left unsupervised around my father.
That's not what I asked. Is he a safe person for the children to be around?
Yes, he is.
Even after numerous gun charges and the biggest drug bust in your county. He's safe for the children to be around.
Yes, he is. He served his time.
Well, that should work both ways, shouldn't it?
Both ways
Your
with
Honor,
what?
I'm not sure what
I wasn't
plaintiff
sure
is
either, so
asking.
you have to be more specific, sir.
Okay. You stated that your father's a changed man and that he served his time, correct?
I never stated that he was a changed man. I said he has served his time.
Oh, I thought you stated earlier that he was people change and he's changed. Apologize. So he's not a changed man.
It was never a question. That was your assumption.
Does he live the same lifestyle as he did your whole life with drugs, abuse, amongst other things? Does he still live that lifestyle?
No, he does not.
So he's changed, in other words, is what you're saying.
I would say so.
Okay. So people can change, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I don't think I have any more questions that will get a truthful answer that will.
Ms. Sheldon, do you have any further final questions for your client?
No, Your Honor, I don't believe so.
All right, Mr. Reed, your next witness which would include yourself if you prefer to, if you intend to testify.
I do, sir.
Meaning, are you testifying now, or would you like to call other witnesses?
I can testify now.
All right, raise your right hand, please.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
I don't really know without somebody questioning me on it. Should I just give a rundown of the marriage and with the children? Is that basically how this goes, Judge?
Well, whatever is going to be relevant for me to decide the minor's best interest, I guess, is the easiest way for me to say that.
Okay. I have been a part of the children's life since day one. I can remember cutting their umbilical cord while the mother can't remember who did. We have had some very rocky times. And I'm by no means a saint, but that never affected my children, especially as it was played out to be. This is a nightmare that I've lived since the children were born, that when Miss Reed doesn't get her way, she leaves and takes them until she does. There's been multiple lies throughout this. Her testimony, she had a job, but she doesn't work. She left with a duffel bag. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. I've been a part of my kids' life. I love my children. My children have been a very large part of my parents' lives. My father just found out that he has cancer. And they have been a part of my children's lives since day one as well, to the extent that 70 and 80-year-old people can be to keep up. Not only have I been punished, my children have been punished, and my parents have been punished. My parents have been completely there for the children and for Kelly from day one. I had my son full time until the previous judge, let us go into court for her motion, but my motions never got heard. There's been so many things to paint a picture to try to help her in her path that she's trying to go to make everybody believe. I tried numerous times to get my son in school with no cooperation from Kelly for any records, anything. It was just a shot in the dark trying to figure everything out. She stated that I hadn't paid child support or spousal support. I wish I had tons of money laying around, but unfortunately that was taken. And all I have is what I have. I started working and received a letter before I received a check stating that all my financial dues to Kelly and the children would be automatically taken out of my check, which they are every week. I work for a fairly large company. So it's not under the table to skirt around the government or for me to try to get government aids or anything of that nature. I've seeked.
MB, thank you so much. You are appreciated too. We need to back this up for one moment. First of all, Rodrigo Munoz? I took 4 years of Spanish, my dude. I am so sorry. I told you I did not do a lot of homework. Rodrigo says, it took me so long to realize that the bottom right is not Reed's ex, but our host. Yeah, that's me, folks. Sometimes I forget to put my little label down there, and I am waiting. Oh, I cannot wait for the day when I am accidentally included in somebody else's court video, like as a participant, you know? Oh, you mean for his name, not just roll it. Rodrigo Munoz, but there's no R in the last name. I'm not worried about the R. I'm worried about Munoz. I know the little thing. Peña. Munoz.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, MB. I appreciate that very, very much. Seriously, I appreciate all of you guys. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having a lot of fun here with you, and I appreciate that you're all here. And yes, I am Kitchen Court Cases. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button or the dislike button, whichever you prefer. We're gonna finish this off. I mean, we're this far into it. I'm mad that it's taking this long, but let's continue and we'll go from there.
My company actually has a full-time chaplain that works for the company full-time. I have spoke with him and met with him on numerous occasions to discuss issues, tried to figure out how to deal with things. I understand that I'm kind of an outspoken person. I don't really hold much.
Night, keeper, please be well, get better soon, and keep healing yourself. We are sending you healing thoughts. Everybody that's with us, when you're down, we're always sending you positive thoughts. I emanate positivity and thoughts, so you don't even have a choice. Just letting you know. Also, Vancouver Island marmots are so cute. We'll do a little thing on that soon. Also, I think Sashina is going to send me some pictures of her goat, slams, cow, colored something or others. I'm excited for that too. Let's continue because I really actually did have plans tonight, but we'll see.
Back and my life has been turned upside down by my kids.
Hold on. I first interrupted and he said something about aid, government aid. Never mind. Just keep moving, Kitch. Keep moving.
Being taken out of the state and away from me and my family. And I know it has for them too. I've listened to my daughter cry on the phone, wanting to come home, wanting to see her daddy. And it breaks a man's heart. This is in my opinion, complete control and a financial gain for Kelly.
Gotta back that up. Did he just say a troll? I don't think that's. Oh my god.
This is, in my opinion, complete control and a financial gain for Kelly.
Control.
I lost everything I had. I don't have anything left between what the court's taken and what I've had to liquidate to pay for court cost and living expenses is unbelievable. She stated numerous times that the whole divorce was, there was just so much abuse, but yet this never came out except for the one time that I had been prescribed a medication and then they upped it after my grandfather's passing. If you do the research on the meds, some people require inpatient hospitalization. I was up for, I believe it was 5 days straight with no sleep and no eat. I'd lost my mind, no doubt. So I take complete fault for anything that occurred from that. And if that's going to be used against me after my children are born, then so be it. I can take fault for my actions. But the fact of the matter is I've been there for my children every day, every night that I could physically be there.
Oh, please.
My children love.
Oh, what's on the judge's coffee mug? Cachette, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. I am so distractible. This is the problem. This is why streams are always like so long because I just don't stop. Anyways, here's the problem. What's on his coffee mug? I want to go back. Can we do a slow-mo?
That I could physically be there.
Okay, what is that? What is that? Oh, also, I'm looking off screen at another screen. That's why I'm looking like. What is that? Okay. That's a type of dog. That is a silhouette type of dog. We are learning. Oh man, if that was an alpaca, I would be so happy. Dude, if he had merch. Oh, I just. That was unacceptable. If one day somehow I made merch and then sent it to judges by accident and then I saw it on camera, wow, that would get me going.
My children love me. They want to be around me still. I can only imagine the heartache and the confusion that goes through the children's head. There's plenty of studies done that show how children turn out in the single mother home. I dealt with a lot of anger from being cheated on. Even though nobody wants to admit to it, I read messages that no man, no husband wants to read about sexual things that happen between their spouse and another man. No man wants to read. I also found out, and
that's a lie. That's a lie. We don't kink shame here, dude. Guess what? There are 100% guys out there. I'm not saying that 100% of guys out there. I'm saying that there is absolutely husbands that want to read nastier shit than you could imagine about their wife and watch her do it with people too, dude. They're real men, though. They can control their emotions and figure out how to deal with that without beating people. See? You can't. That's the problem here. But don't lump all men or all husbands in with your sick group because you're not speaking for them. I might get off on judges having merch of mine. That's my business. We don't kink shame.
The reason that caused the divorce.
Of course, you can make a spank joke, insert funny name, but it better be good because I can take a spanking.
Even though it doesn't want to be admitted to, that the 15-year-old that was living with us, when I found out that my wife was allowing her to sneak out behind my back, not telling me anything, had put a 15-year-old on a surgical implanted birth control, denied it the whole time, and had me running the roads all night long trying to find this child, not knowing if this kid was abducted or murdered, or I can't express what went through my head that night, the whole time, my wife knowing exactly what was going on. I couldn't get over that. I begged her to book us counseling appointments, to talk with somebody that could help us through that issue. She has stated from day one, any problems we have, she doesn't need counseling. She doesn't need anybody to talk to. But the fact that a grown man was allowed to have sexual relations in the home with my child there is very disturbing to me. Whether she wants to admit to it or not, it's all on public record.
Hold on, that was really important. A grown person having S relations with your child there? Okay, that's totally different.
It's all on FOIA request. The guy admitted to everything. I tried to file for divorce shortly after I was told I couldn't just yet. She ran and told me if I didn't drop the charges against the guy that she would leave because she didn't want to be in trouble for allowing it. There was marijuana that was given to the child. I've never been one to do any type of drugs. So some people are okay with marijuana. I'm not. No judgment on that. But
Sir, you were arrested by the Narcotics Task Force. Allegedly. Sir? Sir? Like, you are one syllable away from being like, I don't get high on my own supply.
to a 15-year-old child, I do not believe it's appropriate. No truth can come out of the matter. Anything I ask, or questioned, it's been a lie. So I was gone, and she decided to take the kids and not tell me anything. And I consulted with my brother that's law enforcement that works for the Marshal Service. And he told me that I was able to track the Jeep because he had a Jeep, which I did so. And I went to make sure my kids were okay. I think any man would when there's no response.
Did he just admit to stalking her with advice from somebody in law enforcement, allegedly? I really don't care if some lady in her kitchen told you to do it on the internet. Okay, dude? Don't do things like that. What the?
There's nothing wrong. It wasn't the fact of something happened the night before this happened. There was sexual relations between me and my wife. So it wasn't like there was any fight, argument, miscommunication. It was still the fact of we need some counseling because I can't grasp the fact of what happened. Then she left, took my kids, and no response. So
But you fucked her? You fucked her? Was it an angry one? Yeah, I bet it was.
Of course, I have no problem admitting that I drove to Indiana and I picked up my son that said he wanted to go home. And instead of running like has been testified so many times in the past, I walked across the parking lot, got in my truck, and ended up driving home where he stayed. She had multiple times to come see him. She never wanted to. My family and I have both tried to have communication with my daughter, which has been denied every time. I think any man would want to know what was going through a woman's head to leave and do this to their children. I know we're playing the victim card, but all truth be told, what is the real reason? Because that's not it. My children were ripped out.
Oh my God, you think she's playing the victim card? Oh my God. I actually thought there was a moment of clarity there. Oh, wow. Did you see that in my face? I was like, oh, wow, okay, he's coming somewhere. And then I realized, oh my God, he's talking about her. She's playing the victim because you victimized her. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that he is not having a hard time getting access to his children now, but I do not understand his attitude and like the.
Out from underneath me, just like if you had a child pass. If it feels, I couldn't imagine either, but this feels the same. The children have been treated as a possession, and the drive behind it is the financial gain to make as much so somebody doesn't have to work. It's been testified that I just make so much money I don't know what to do with it, when in fact I don't. It's on record that I blew snow this winter. You live here, you know how much snow we got. So there was no money to be made. Sorry I'm behind on things, but I have no choice. I went and got a full-time job and doing all I can to support my children. But while I'm paying to support my children, I'm also denied being able to see my children. Asking during visitation what they've been doing, what have they been doing? That's a conversation I've had with my kids every day that I worked and came home. What have you been doing? It's just the start of a conversation. It's not interrogation. It's the start of a conversation. Ask what they've been doing. I miss my kids. She's said in a roundabout way that it affects them greatly without saying it because she doesn't want to say that. And it hurts me knowing these kids were taken out of the state where they resided and allowed to leave with the intentions of establishing residency out of state. Was the whole intention of that.
Oh, you can use bad words, just you have to misspell them slightly. And the only one that is really bad is the F word. And it's only because me and YouTube Daddy are just learning each other's vibes. You know, our no's and our yeses. So I'm just trying to be a good partner, you know. Do my side, get the consent of YouTube Daddy. Also, I'm going to get Larry to come in here for a moment to take over for a minute. I'll be right back, but I'm still listening. But Larry, I could use a hand.
To benefit her in a court battle. I can see through everything that's been going on, and I know exactly what they're leading for. You don't want a father to have a part of their life that's been there since day one. So, like I say, I have no problem admitting to my faults. I've been in trouble plenty of times in the past previous to Kelly, and didn't seem to bother her at all because she married me and chose to have children with me, and people change. As she stated. So I really don't know what else to say other than I'm in disbelief, and so is numerous people that they've been allowed to leave. without hearing a full story of what happened, just one-sided with no evidence. I mean, she's stating black eyes. She has pictures of everything. Where's the pictures of black eyes? You knew you were going to leave forever. Where's pictures of a 6'5" guy that weighs 325 pounds backhanding a child? I mean, I think that would cause some serious damage. Myself, where are these pictures of all this stuff that's happened? Is it, you have evidence of everything else, but what else have you rehearsed to say that benefits you? And I understand she has a lawyer that's all she represents, and that's what they're pushing for. And that's usually what's pushed for in child custody between a man and a woman, unfortunately. And all it does is hurt the kids. The kids have never been unsafe, ever. In fact,
when a man hates a woman, he'll treat her bad.
They've had less accidents in my presence than they have in her presence. My daughter has had to have her whole foot sewn up when Kelly was around, from leaving things out. My son has a scar on the side of his face, but none of that stuff happens when I'm there to make sure everything is safe and the children are okay. So I really don't know what else to say. I had a lot more questions to ask, but when the answers are lies, it's not even worth wasting my time, and I apologize for remarks. It is just very hard, and I'm in disbelief of half the stuff I hear. So,
Thank you. Ms. Sheldon, do you have questions for Mr. Reed?
Yeah, Sean.
You do? I have a few things
Good
I'd like to
afternoon,
say to him, but
Mr.
you go
Reed.
ahead.
hello.
You recall the hearing on October 6th and 7th, don't you?
I do, I believe. Somewhat of it. Not a little stressful.
You admit to Texas 10 most wanted fugitive list, that you were on that list, is that correct?
Of course.
And it was for aggravated assault with deadly weapon, is that correct?
It was for felony evading in a motor vehicle and aggravated assault that never took place, but then they admitted it didn't take place.
I'm not asking that question. I'm asking whether you were wanted for that.
Correct.
Yep. An assault and harassment of public servant, is that correct?
Correct.
And evading arrest, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you have a conviction? Do you have a felony conviction?
I sure do.
What is that for?
Evading arrest in a motor vehicle.
Okay. And do you now deny that you had anything to do with domestic violence, that you were, actually, you talk about one incident where you were on medication, right?
Correct.
And when was that?
I couldn't tell you the time, to be honest with you. I didn't even know who I was then.
Is that in Texas? Is that in California? Where is that from? I'm sorry?
Texas.
Texas. Now, what happened? What is that medication, Mr. Reed?
I believe the name was Effexor or something along that line. It was for antidepressant.
Antidepressant, okay. And you said you weren't sleeping, you weren't eating.
You are correct.
You lost your mind.
You are very correct. And your client is.
And what did you do to Miss Reed?
Like I said, I have no idea. It was a daze for days.
Okay.
But I think you've already stated what y'all claimed I did.
No, wait a minute. I don't think we claimed anything regarding that.
Oh, okay.
So around September 12th, 2016, would you say that was around the time that this incident occurred?
I'll be honest with you, I have no idea.
Would you say there's a report out there with the case number 16-10189?
I couldn't tell you a case number on anything.
Okay, would you be surprised if there was a case number and there was a voluntary statement by Miss Reed?
That's usually how a case is started, correct?
Okay. And in that statement, would you be surprised if it states that it accuses you of raging and abusing her mentally?
Well, like I said, I don't remember anything. I don't know how much more clear I need to be on that.
And that you threatened to kill her? Is that correct?
I think that goes with the answer previously.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to move to admit Exhibit C, Texas Domestic Violence Assault Incident Reports, as a defendant's exhibit to rebut what Mr. Reed cannot recall.
Mr. Reed, any objection?
No, sir. I don't know what's in it, and I have no objection. Whatever helps move it along.
I would say for this record, the only reason I'm admitting that is because he's not objecting.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Reed, also, there was an exhibit D that shows your list of convictions, or not convictions, arrest record from 2002 until 2011 or 12, as well
So,
as
the 20
and
years
you've seen the Texas 10 Most Wanted flyer, as well as the judgment of conviction. I'm moving to request to admit those exhibits as well.
I would object. Those are pre-marriage and they're not convictions. As you stated, they're convictions or not.
Are you objecting to the Texas 10 Most Wanted?
No, the Texas 10 Most Wanted didn't happen from 2002 to 2000.
No, I'm just asking if you're objecting to that, that's fine, but I'm asking for the next two documents to be.
I don't know what the next documents are.
Well, I don't think it's vital, as you admitted to being on that list and also the conviction.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I was on the list.
Okay, thank you.
Can I also add something, or am I not allowed to?
You're not allowed.
Okay.
You'll be able to do that once she's done asking you questions.
No problem. I was just asking.
Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Reed. You say you're there for your children and you love them. Is that correct?
Great question. I think that's well aware.
Do you think you're loving them by not providing for them?
I'm providing everything I can, and your client took all the means of providing, even if she doesn't want to admit to it.
Oh, I see. So who stopped you from having parenting time?
I guess your client and the supervised visitation lady.
Okay. And after that, did you file any motion to the court to change the supervisor?
Ma'am, I don't know how to do any of that, and I don't have any time off of work. If I miss time off of work, then I can't provide for my children.
Right.
I just started a job. I cannot take time off of work. I do not have a lawyer. I do not know. Every motion I've tried to file has been handed back to me because it was wrong. So no, I have not.
You've had 3 attorneys in this case alone, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. And you have a criminal attorney as well.
I do not.
Not now, but you did, January.
You're correct. I had a criminal lawyer, and now he's actually pursuing the county for civil rights violations.
Sounds good. Okay. You said you have a lot of anger because of the cheating. Is that correct?
And a lot of frustration. I think any man would.
Okay. And is that why you sent all those text messages to my client?
No, I think it's I think I'm more in disbelief than anger, to be completely honest with you. I don't really know how to describe the feeling.
Yeah.
More hurt that it's being allowed.
Is it sadness?
I just told you I don't know the exact feeling.
Yeah.
I'm sad for the children.
Can somebody please get me a chat? Quickly, I would like to have a chart of feelings, a basic one like kindergartners use, so that he can go ahead and point that out on a chart, maybe, since he can't seem to identify what feeling it is. We can help. It's okay.
No. Okay. I guess my question would be, if you wanted a relationship that is stable for your children, how come you haven't seen them in all these months in person?
For one, I can't afford to drive to Texas where they were sent to and allowed to leave to, not at their resident state where they lived, which you're aware of. That's why y'all filed what you did.
Yeah.
I have no way of financially going and driving 20-something hours and turning around and coming back. I can't afford the gas. I can't afford the hotels.
But you can afford 3 attorneys, is that correct?
No, I didn't afford 3 attorneys.
Would you like me to dig through the bank statements? Because there are a number of payments that you've made to your attorneys.
Okay. Can you find a payment made to the last attorney?
I don't know about that one. But
Because I can use credit card on. I could probably get credit card statements from somebody else that it's on.
Well, I'm just asking you, you had enough money to pay these private attorneys, 3, 4 of them, and yet you don't have money for your kids.
Ma'am, I hired lawyers to do because I wasn't able to play victim to get a free lawyer. I'm not a woman.
I have a lot of male clients as well.
Okay.
I don't want to get into that. I'm not, the comment's inappropriate. I don't really want to get into that between the two of you arguing about it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
I'm-
keep
I
it.
apologize. You stated that.
Well, I mean, both. You know, I don't need the two of you arguing about that kind of stuff. You can keep your personal beliefs on any gender things to yourselves. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If it relates to this case, we can get into certain things, but
I apologize.
it's not time for the two of you to argue those disputes.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I apologize, Your Honor. Now, you talked about your 15-year-old daughter, Sophie Brown. Is that correct?
Who I had believed to be my 15-year-old daughter.
And you're not her father?
According to a statement made by her mother, no, I'm not.
Oh, okay. So you allowed this child to come believing that that was your daughter?
At the time, believing that, yes, I tried to do the right thing.
And you're blaming my client because she was having sexual relations with with a grown man. Is that correct?
I'm blaming your client because I was not there and your client hid it from me. Your client put my daughter, my supposed daughter at the time, on birth control, lied to me about it. She had a grown man having sex in the home with my 2 little children. Yes, I would blame that on your client when she hid it from me.
Okay. You're blaming her for leaving all of a sudden in July, is that correct?
Well, somebody left.
And you're admitting that you tracked the Jeep,
Oh, yes,
and you're admitting that you drove to Indiana,
of course.
and you're admitting that you spent the night there.
Of course, I got a hotel room there.
Yeah. And you're admitting that you waited for her. You did not call her at all to let her
I did
know
call
that
her.
you were there.
I testified that I called numerous times and she would not answer the phone to tell me what was going on with my children.
Right. But you did not call her on the night of.
Yes, I
Neither
did.
did you call her on the morning of.
Yes, I did. I called both.
Then you're changing your testimony from October 7th.
I stated that I called her.
Okay. And you appeared at the parking lot and took the son. Is that correct?
I was a customer at that hotel. I did not appear there.
That is not the answer to the question. You took Hunter.
I brought my son home. He's not a possession.
I understand. I never said that he was. You took your son home. Did you allow any parenting time?
I tried.
Okay. Did you allow any parenting time in Michigan when my client was in Michigan?
I tried.
Did you allow her to touch your son?
Yes, I did. It's not my son. It's our son.
I'm talking to you, Mr. Blake. So Miss Reed came all the way from Texas and you allowed her to have 2 hours in the car. Is that the testimony?
That's her testimony.
Is that your testimony?
She never had She never stayed for 2 hours in the vehicle with my son.
Okay. How long was she there?
I couldn't tell you. She was in a hurry to answer the phone. It kept ringing.
Okay. So it's your testimony that you never touched your son. But Hunter broke his arm, didn't he?
His arm was broken at daycare, correct?
Okay.
Yuck, 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 yuck all around. And I don't mean that in the laughter sense. I mean that in the yuck, gross sense. I'm feeling for these children. I feel for them most. I'm sad that both of them can't seem to be adult. I'm upset in a way that the judge let this tone and tenor of this hearing get to this point because he generally is all about just dealing with what's in front of him, but you have to understand, like, this is not your average situation, and I don't like it. And hiya, Eddie Block Films, first timer, welcome. This is Kitchen Court Cases, and we watch court in my kitchen. This one's almost over, but I got a ton of other ones, and we have the coolest chat around. So if you have any questions, let us know. This one's almost over, but we'll see how we do.
So is it your testimony that you never called my client derogatory names or call her names at all?
I'm sure I did.
And that was justified because she was a cheater? Is that correct?
Oh, no, not just because she cheated. The whole situation. My kids are being punished right now.
Did you call her a piece of shit?
I'm sure I did.
What kind of things did you call her otherwise?
I don't recall, but I can probably tell you that I said that.
Okay.
I don't believe kids should be taken from either parent.
Did you call her unfit mother?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Did you threaten her that she would never see Hunter again?
I don't think that I could. I think that went both ways. I think she told me I would never see my kids again, which I was not allowed any parenting time with my daughter. I was not.
I'm
She
sorry,
did.
Mr. Reed, I'm going to
ahead.
interject here because you have the right to testify on your behalf. But my
Okay.
question is, did you threaten my client saying that she will never see Hunter again?
I'm not sure, but I'll admit to it.
Okay.
The San Jose Sharks, is that what you're talking about, Eddie Block Films? Because I'm all about hockey. I like hockey. I guess the Avs is the Colorado Avalanche, is it? Right. Avs and Broncos fan is actually a lovely lady named Amy. And so even though I see that name, that's not how it works in my brain. Every one of you has a special little way that you come up in my brain because I have a weird brain. One day we'll do that. We'll do a little thing about that. Anyways, okay, let's finish this. Come on, we're so close.
Do you have a conviction, criminal conviction, most recently in Grand Traverse County?
No, I do not.
Were you charged with the criminal charge?
I was charged and they were dismissed as soon as the prosecutor looked at the video evidence.
Okay.
There was no crime committed.
What was the charge?
Resisting arrest.
Okay. And when was that?
I think it occurred on New Year's.
January 1st?
I believe so. Don't hold me to it, but I believe it was around that time frame.
Okay. And do you have housing currently?
Till the end of the month.
And then where are you going?
I'm going to move in with friends.
Friends.
Correct.
Where would that be?
In Michigan.
What city?
I don't know what city they consider that. Mansalona or Kalkaska, or I don't really know what it's considered.
And what kind of housing situation would that be? Would you be paying rent?
Not at first. I have to get caught up on everything.
Okay. And you said friends. How many people in the house?
2.
How many bedrooms?
7.
How many bathrooms?
5. 2 living rooms, 2 garages. That's about the description of the place.
How many square feet is that?
I have no idea.
Okay. You're working currently. Is it full time?
It is right now. It's a full job. I'm laid off November 1st.
You still have your snowplow business, don't you?
I do not.
That's in 6 months.
You full time meaning 40 hours? How many hours?
It depends on the week. I was been in training, so it varies.
I understand, but what is your regular hours? Just 40?
40 hours.
How much do you get paid an hour?
21 or 22. I can't remember.
Okay. You were ordered to pay child support, correct?
I was informed of that, correct. I never went to court, which I thought that's how that worked.
I don't understand that answer. You
Maybe I need to
understand that you were ordered child support.
I found out I was ordered to pay child support when I retained the last lawyer, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Reed, if you have any additional comments, you're welcome to do that now based on the questions you were asked. If you don't have any, you don't have to. This is just, as you've probably heard me say the word redirect. That's kind of what this would be, and it's a little strange because you were asking and answering the questions, but that's what this would be.
Okay, yeah. My mind is not in it. I can't even think at this point, to be honest with you.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just can't think of anything that would be admitted to that's worth bringing up.
Thank you. Do you have any further witnesses, sir?
Yes, I'd like to call my mother as a witness. I can have her. What does she need to do?
Yeah, why don't we go off the record? We'll take a quick break. I think we've been.
Yes, thank you, Judge. I agree. We should take a quick break. But it's actually going to be our break for the evening. But good news, guys. Our like ratio is so high that I just queued up 500,000 points for everybody. Thank you so much for being here and giving me your likes and your love. Seriously though, I appreciate you guys. I have to find the rest of this. I actually thought this was it. I will go look in my archive and find it all. Anyways, you guys, you know I love you very much. You know you're very special to me. People in Court was here tonight. I want you to make sure that you go check her channel. She said she was going to do a premiere, and I am 100p sure that it'll be great. So let's figure that out, because if she's posting again, that's such great news. I'm so happy for that. Same goes with, although I didn't see him tonight, that is the way I see it. And looking at legal stuff as usual. And Credence and Mikey, my babies. Credence and Mikey dropped this little 3-hour possibility tomorrow, which I am like dying to have. I already voted in the poll. So please sub to all those channels. All my mods are great. All my people are great. All of you are great. I love you just for being you. And I'm proud of you. Now, have a great evening. I'll be back tomorrow, I promise, and we will have fun. Watch some other videos, go find some other creators, comment on their videos, like their videos. Make sure to clock in whenever you go and watch a creator's video. They work hard on them, and it's so lovely when our community can make a difference and show love to other people. So that's why I love you guys so much. It's a pleasure to be able to hang out with you all the time. I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night. Bye. This is Kimmy Beaver saying good night.